What's up, everybody? Paul here from the Hoops Crew, and it is post-game live time following a Cats win to the tune of 27 points after five losses from our last 6 games. It's nice to be back on the winners list. Certainly hearing that song at the end of the game is a good feeling, and hopefully we can build on it from there. But it's not to say, despite the win, despite it, honestly, it should have been more. Some junk time goals at the very end there to the Saints made it look a bit more flattering for them. The game's not without its really negative stories. Of course, last week we lost Jeremy Cameron for an extended stretch. Looks like the same news has befallen Max Holmes. There seems to be an ankle injury, I would imagine, an ankle injury that is going to see him out for at least a few weeks. Certainly, if you take a look at, I guess, the way there was a lot of conjecture through commentary, certainly within our Discord community, is it knee, is it ankle, based on him strolling around the moon boot and no strapping whatsoever to his knee. I think we're talking about an ankle injury there. But we'll see. We'll see how that one shakes out. Of course, Shawnee Manor was strapped up with his hamstring as well. I do feel like that one was a little bit more of a cautious approach than anything else. He may get a week off, but certainly I think a more cautious approach there from the Cats, especially with the injuries that we've already got. And I'll also note Brad Close took an injury quite late to the leg. I think he's okay in that particular instance, but watch this space for Brad Close as well. Danger was a bit of a watch of mine going into the game, but seems to have pulled up pretty well. Thank you to everyone who's already in the chat. Whether we're talking about with Python here, we've got Quiet Strength Studio. Who else have we got? Ben is there. Noz is here. And the many others who will pop in over the course of the night. Thank you to all of you who are in there. Big fella. Jay Pockinghorn, enough said. Mic drop. He was fantastic in his debut. Sarah's popped in as well, enjoying a well overdue win. But yeah, to cycle back to big fella's point, Jay Polkinghorn, fantastic debut there. As actually a few people, commentators, I heard Brian and Baz saying in post-match interviews, once he kind of gets his kicking boots on, he kicked 2 goals, 3 tonight. Once he gets his kicking boots on, he could be anything. Those sticky hands. He took 8 marks tonight on Cal Wilkie. Made the bloke look like an amateur in his debut. So fantastic performance from him. Millsy is with the energy that we all love right now, saying we may never lose again. Look, you're not wrong. No, I mean, look, if we can, I guess we've got 2 still, I guess, fairly alarming, worrying games in the next couple of weeks, especially as the injuries continue to mount, be it, Jezza, Max Holmes, and potentially others, obviously Shawnee Manor and potentially others. The games against the Ds and the Pies in the next couple of weeks aren't going to be easy ones by any stretch. But if we can get through those, if we can find a way to get through those, and it'll be interesting next week because the Ds have not, and Baz said this himself in his post-game with Fox Footy, the Ds haven't lost a game at the MCG all year, and we've got to deal with them Friday night at the Saturday night. When is it? Someone remind me. Friday, Saturday? I feel like it's Friday because I was eyeing off maybe going, actually. Where are we? Friday night at the G. Yeah, 6th versus 7th. As things stand right now. So, if we can get through those 2 games, and then we're into the Essendon, North, and Richmond block at the end there, that allows time for Max to get back, for Jezza to potentially get back. I'm still not clear. They've obviously operated on the shoulder. Did they operate on the broken, the broken arm as well? I'm not 100% clear on that one. But it allows time, especially if we can go and actually bank these, and to the point of, Millsy's point of we may never lose again. If we can bank the next 5 and get ourselves out of wild card territory, get ourselves into 6th or higher, if we can hold on to that 6th or higher spot, then, that gives Jezza an extra week off, for example. And so to Python's point, Jezza won't be back until finals. That gives us that extra week for Jezza to come back, for Max to come back. So we've just, these next 2 in particular, ultra important. But we'll talk more about that in due course. This is, of course, post-game live. Please don't hesitate to use the QR code in the corner there. I see Jake's popped in. Jake, you know how to get on board. Jump in, mate. We'll have a bit of a chat. It'd be good to have you on post-game live. at the moment. I can see Ethan in the green room, but his camera's off. So I'm sure we'll chat to him in due course. Jake, anyone else? QR's there in the corner. Link is right here in the chat as well. If you want to talk about the 27-point win, there's the link for anyone watching right now to join in and share their thoughts. While I'm waiting for guests to make themselves available, some other, I guess, highlights from the game. Munted Mango is offering his leg to Max Holmes. Some takeaways from the game, and to Jake's point here, Jai Clark did some really fantastic things on the night. His disposal efficiency left a bit to be desired, but I think like the way he played the game, the intensity there. Oh, Jack and Johnny are in. That's awesome. We'll bring him in a sec, but actually, no, we'll do it right now because we're talking about Jake's point anyway. So I don't think, boys, I'm really sorry. Ben hasn't made a layout for one of you, let alone both of you. So we're just going to, he's been really fucking around with this. This is not how it's supposed to be. There we go. How's things, gents?
Hey, how are we?
Good.
Colin's fault.
Win.
Yeah, got to blame Colin. Got to blame Colin for the lack of layouts.
Yeah.
It's always Cole. It's been a while since we've been able to blame him about something anyway, but it's good.
Exactly.
Can't miss when the opportunity's there. How are we feeling about the win?
Pretty
and
good.
The various stories that have come from it.
Good win. Pretty devastating what's happened to Holmes and Manor. Hopefully O'Connor's all right, but Holmes and...
I mean, they were working
Holmes
on that calf all night long. So, sorry, quad, I should say, all night long.
But yeah, another week of bloody injuries, eh? But
yeah. Could be the sour note that kind of actually genuinely derails a proper crack at things at the end of the year. It's just those injuries, but who knows? They could all queue up and get back in time at this point. I do look at that Max Holmes one, and I instantly start linking it to Zach Butters and the syndesmosis and that high ankle. It's a bit of a worry, so we'll hear more in due course. But plenty of good stories, and let's cycle back to the post you put there, Jake, about Jai Clark. Takeaways when it comes to Jai, and then some of the others as we, obviously we'll end up talking about Polk, as I'm sure many others will want to talk about tonight. But someone like Jai Clark, who was discussed a lot in the Discord tonight, you flagged him here. What are we thinking?
Yeah, I think he's just shown everybody, if you only watch the AFL and you haven't been watching the VFL, he's just shown his homework sort of thing that he's been working on like for the last 18 months, this roll down back. And like, obviously he wasn't perfect. He had, I think, 9 turnovers in the end and some absolute shocking moments. But at the same time, 12 intercept possessions, which is the highest on the team. I think it was a personal best in terms of his total disposals.
Yeah, I reckon you'd be right there.
Put some brilliant defensive efforts on in the first quarter. And I thought he had some decent use of the ball too. So, like, I think when you think about the context of him coming in as like, oh, he's the next Joel Selwood. He's going to be this inside mid going through the downturn of his career and now starting to come back out the other side of it with extra strings to his bow. Like, it's so exciting. I feel so happy for all these guys, like the dudes who are toiling away in the VFL. Like, I couldn't be happier for
him. Johnny, thoughts on Jai tonight?
Yeah, just really brilliant game by him. He was fantastic. Like you could see his development really take that next step from when he last played. Like his pressure was spot on all night. The tackle in that first few minutes of the game really set a good standard for not just himself but the team. And yeah, like leading intercept possessions in defence is also pretty high.
He had 11 late in the game. He had 11 intercepted possessions, which was more than anyone on the ground by quite a way. So
that's really impressive by him. And it's going to be hard to get him out of this side, especially with all his injuries now. It's like, keep him in. He's going to do well.
There's an opportunity for him that's come out of this, and hopefully he can continue to take it. Yeah, I think that, and we've discussed this in our various crossover shows and the like over the course of the last couple of years. I feel like the big concern for him wasn't about the way he played. Hell, it's not even about the disposal efficiency. Like, that's absolutely something he's got to work on. And it did rear its head on occasions tonight, as you flagged there, Jake. I think the big thing for him, and it's just a natural thing for a midfielder who's a little bit undersized, it's just the the physical mass and just a bit of size. And like we've seen him grow, obviously not vertically, but we've seen him bulk up over the course of the last couple of seasons. And I don't think we're done in that particular regard either. Like he's still got, I think, quite a bit of scope to muscle up and not necessarily lose any speed and zip. In fact, I felt like that was maybe a weakness early on. It didn't feel like he had the ability to put on any afterburners or really dash away from opponents, but we saw that on occasions tonight as well. I think he's really rounding himself out as a player nicely. And yeah, that defensive role, which is ultimately, as soon as we saw him slot in there, I go, oh, okay. So here's the direct swap for Tanner Bruin in terms of what Tanner's been doing this year. But, I can easily see a long-term future for him, whether it's in that position or through the midfield, whatever it happens to be. I was delighted with him through that finals campaign at the end of last year. Obviously, everyone had a nightmare day on grand final day, pretty much. But prior to that, he was fantastic. We've spoken a lot in post-game live this year about the Adelaide game early in the piece in the last quarter, where he just put everyone on his shoulders and carried him along. Loving where he's at. I feel like he's been robbed only getting 2 tackles on the night. I feel like he did much more than that. There was 2 awesome ones. There was 2 amazing ones where he saw him and you could see him from a mile out. He recognized, okay, they're jumping for the ball. They're going to be flat-footed, and he just piled into him from behind. Love those, but I feel like he got screwed out of a few more.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We might see a stat adjustment, in the next 24 hours. Sometimes they add a few. Or I also just think on the Tanner Bruin thing, like if I could take either of them in that same role at the moment, I'd take Clark. Personally, and I think Tanner Bruin's probably got more the body size to play in the midfield than Clark does at the moment. But and I know it's not demonstrated tonight, which is the tough thing, but I think on balance, Clark actually does make better decisions. Like, again, he didn't necessarily play his best hand tonight.
Well, decision making and execution are 2 different things, right? So
yeah, exactly. So I really do think he can make this role something to add long term. Like, I don't think it has to just be a transitional thing for him. Like, I think he's really found something for himself. And his intercept marking was really, really good, I thought, and he was strong in some of those.
He was fantastic. Those marking contests, he was unreal.
Yeah.
And shout out to Atush, who's just jumped in and said we may never lose again. That
would be.
It's not the first person who said that tonight, but it's nice when it comes from a Carlton supporter.
It is.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the Blues can get some nice victory on the weekend over the Pies.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, certainly for our wild card, but also just having a crack at the top 6. If someone wants to take Pendles out, I know there's a little bit of a bet behind the scenes with this game tied to Dan Gorringe and the like. So if someone wants to just take him out for Dan's sake or ours, who cares?
Absolutely.
So
I thought Warple
getting injured. Go on. Sorry.
Warple. No, you're right. I think Warple played I've been a bit of a critic of Warple, but I think this is the best game he's probably played at the Cats. I thought for the most part, something I've really despised about his game this year is just the free kicks he gives away. He's regularly given away, 3-4 free kicks in the VFL in a game, and I thought he tidied that up tonight. I just thought he played a little bit smarter. I thought on balance it was probably his best game. I still don't know that he's a best 23 every week kind of player for me, but I think that the right opponent, the right situation, I think you bring him in. I think he's part of our best 33 players.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think he's a horses for courses sort of guy.
Yeah.
And look, the numbers do him a little bit dirty tonight. One of the big criticisms we all have had about James Warple, even when we first recruited him, is his disposal efficiency. Tonight he was going at 50%, but I don't think that really reflects, I guess, what those disposals were. A lot of them were, him just slapping it on the boot because he needed to clear the contest. Some of those landed straight down the throat of others. Sometimes they were sockers off the ground, and that's going to skew the numbers a bit. So I don't make too much of that in his case. I think it was a really good rounded game. Obviously, both at the coalface and when he did manage to find the ball on the outside, it was solid. And given the circumstances, and this is where I think the recruiting of Geelong to basically get him for nothing in a lot of ways. We certainly didn't have to offer up overs for him. I I think it kind of proves the decision making of the coaches pretty well. Like, you don't want to bank on injuries, but it's a reality of the game. And when they come along and someone like James Warple is the sort of person you're socketing in, you'll take that. Like, you can put him in and go, we've still got a chance here.
Yeah.
Rather than instantly leaning on a bunch of debutants. Like, I mean, who knows, Max is out, maybe we'll just throw Hunter in there just for the fun of it, just to keep a Holmes out on the track. But like, if you're starting to have to quickly turn to a bunch of, first gamers left, right, and center, that's a worry. But we're not in that situation outside of Jay Polkinghorne, and he's just a gun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Warple was good tonight. Had the 7 clearances, inside of 50s and 524 meters gained. So
6 tackles to go with it. It's good.
He did very well. I thought it was definitely the best game I've seen him play in the hoops, and it's looking like the old Hawthorn scrubs is scrubbing off nicely.
Any others you want to focus on? Of course, we haven't really focused on Jay Polkinghorne yet, and that'll be a big topic of discussion. But were there any other players from tonight that caught either of your eyes that you really wanted to hone in on?
Yeah, I agree. Definitely Brian Myers. That was a really good game by him. Yeah, like came in and just looked like his old self. It looked like he was doing everything that he used to do when he was fit and healthy. So yeah, it's really good to see him back at his best and not looking too troubled by that knee.
Yeah.
I'd just shout out Tommy Atkins. Like, I've been reading comments for a week. Oh, we need to give him a rest. He looks cooked. He looks this. He looks that. Someone said Father Time was coming for Tom Atkins. And he was absolutely relentless tonight. Like, I don't know what he ended up with. It would have been 20-odd touches. Must have been
21, 8 tackles, 6 clearances, and 1 goal, 1.
Yeah, he's an absolute gun. And, like, he's never going to rack up the same numbers that Bailey Smith does or Max Holmes. But he is such an on-field leader. Like, Johnny pointed it out at one time.
Atush's. He's nailed it.
Absolutely true, Atush. Yeah. I think so. I don't want you guys can suggest what the name of our tag team would be, but
absolutely.
Yeah, I think Atkins, like he was absolutely ripping someone at one point. One of the Geelong players, Johnny said, "Did you see him just absolutely lay into somebody? One of his teammates, just having a go at them after a stoppage." He's so important for how we set up. Like, his leadership is important, but then to have his 8 tackles and his 6 clearances and kick a goal, and I can't believe the growth he's had. Like, I thought in 2022 that was as good as he would get, and he's actually just gone to 2 or 3 other levels again. He's such a well-rounded footy player now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd agree. And I think he's probably sensing the occasion and where we're at, and he's just got that something, that dog in him that just goes, all right, fine, we'll just crank it up a few more gears. And with Max going out, he certainly doesn't have that speed, but I think he'll come in there and he'll bash in harder than ever next week. And he recognises the stakes. He wants premierships. He's a hungry player. And not in the problematic way like every St.Kilda forward.
I think
he's going to go about the right way. Sorry,
Tommy Stewart. I was looking a bit pissed at the end of the game. I reckon he's going to have a bit of a word with the rest of the defenders after the last few minutes. I reckon he wasn't too impressed with how they were setting up and the fade out, letting him kick 3 goals, late goals. And after the siren round, I was like, he's not looking happy.
Yeah, and look, that's fair. Hold it, maintain the standards. If we want to give ourselves a chance of still pinching a premiership this year, despite everything, we can't afford to have lapses. Even if it's junk time stuff and the game's well and truly over, just don't let it happen. And that's, we expect nothing less of someone like Tommy Stewart, right? Leadership wise.
And the worrying thing is those fade outs have been happening, creeping into the game late of the last few weeks, last few losses. There's just been those fade outs.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a worry. There's a bit of a trend.
Now, I'm not sure how much you guys check out post-game live on the week to week, but Ben has popped in and he's just flagging that the curtains. We need to find something a little bit more obnonoxious.
Has Ben got a curtains fetish or something? Or?
No, the whole community does, and it starts with Horatio and his red wine curtains, and then we get a range of others. Certainly those in the green room. And Ben Harris, you're failing us here because you just got a black background at the moment. Can't see shit. But we all need our dodgy backgrounds and curtains in the background, please, for when the time comes. Get that going.
I don't have any curtains in my
place.
house.
The place looks too modern and clean and well presented. So
yeah,
shit out of luck there.
No red wine curtains.
No red wine curtains. And guys, if you're not sure what I'm talking about, you just have to scrub back and have a bit of a look at it. Any of the previous episodes, Harash's curtains get a lot of love. Tush has jumped in, but
we might jump out because I've got a half an hour drive home and I want to avoid as many kangaroos as possible. But yeah,
before you do that, some quick thoughts then on Jay Polkinghorne, because obviously he's been in the spotlight in particular through all the twos content. So talk a little bit about his debut tonight.
Well, I guess it shouldn't come as any surprise. Like 51 goals in 23 VFL games coming into tonight. He's always, jumped for the ball well. He's always tackled well. That's something I've loved about him since he first arrived and started playing last year, is that even when he hasn't been competing one-on-one in the air well, or he's been taken out of it in the marking contest, his willingness to tackle is just so important. And I think that's what is so good about him, is he's a very well-rounded forward. And I said coming into the game in the VFL pod we did, I said the only mark against him at the moment is his kicking. It is a bit erratic, but you got to love everything else. And if anything, for me, I was surprised how well his wrestling and strength showed up at this level.
Against someone like Cal Wilkie, who's a solid built bloke and gone around for a while. You're doing this comparison with this Alistair Black guy. I have no idea who he is. I'm going to have a quick look.
So, he's got a better bod than me.
But he's got fewer tats than you, though, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Just not on body parts I can show on POSTGAME Live. Polkinghorne debut couldn't have gone any better, and it's just surely he doesn't get dropped. Surely he plays again.
Nah. Yeah, he goes around again for sure.
Excellent.
Unless he comes up sore, he goes around again, no doubt about it.
Sure.
He couldn't have asked for a better night. The only way he could have done better was kicking 5 goals straight. But apart from that,
and that was flagged by a few of the boys, even Brian and Baz post game, where they were quick to point out, once he gets his kicking where it needs to be, sky's the limit. And and to be fair, he's been mostly kicking pretty accurately through the VFL anyway. He could have been better, but it hasn't been poor. So I think tonight's the first time I've seen a negative ledger for him for a while. So
which makes sense. AFL, whole new
amount
of games played, pressures.
A couple of them were for the boundary too, so they weren't necessarily easy shots to begin with. So
definitely not. But he made his direct defender look a bit silly. A fair few times. Yeah.
Like I said, Cal Wilkie's no mug, so it's a really good effort. And as Bill Fella says, he's just 19.
Even once too, I think once his teammates realise how often he's going to bring a 50-50 ball to ground. I reckon there were times tonight where the small forwards didn't necessarily gather at his feet, and I think they'll start to, because he just didn't get outmarked much tonight. So even if he didn't take it directly, he brought it to ground, and I think there'll be some small forwards making careers off him in the future.
Absolutely. Yeah, and he competes really well. And if he doesn't mark it, it's going to come down. So it's good stuff.
Yep.
All right, boys. Thanks a lot for coming in. We'll let you do the 30-minute drive home, mate. And drive safe.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks.
Have a good show.
Everyone can tune into the chaps and all their content, and as well as the twos, nice and soon.
Cheers. Thanks, Paul. Have a good one.
Go, guys.
All right. I think I could be wrong with the order of everyone coming in. I think I saw from Jake and Johnny to Johnny coming in next. So Ben still hasn't made a layout for me, but we'll bring you in. How's things, mate?
Yeah, good. That was a really good win. Last few minutes were a bit, iffy.
Yeah.
Needed to tidy that up. Just to follow on with that Polkinghorne thing with small forwards, Mana's first goal was exactly that. Polkinghorne, if you watch it back, signaled to Mana to stay down and then brought the ball down in 2-on-1. Mana kicks an easy goal out the bat.
Agreed. No, there was quite a few of those where he just, and obviously he's going to go for the mark first and foremost. But if there's a way, if he can't do that, he just puts it in really good spots straight away. So I still will stand by what I've said a little bit in the future. I feel like he is more suited to be that Ollie Henry third tall in the long term. I'd love to see a Jacob Mollier, or had we managed to get Charlie Curnow, for example, at the end of last year, like two big genuine tall key forwards, and then him as that third tall. I think that's where he's going to really thrive long term. But
maybe
the way he conducted himself tonight, doing a pretty good effort in terms of shutting that line of thinking down. So,
oh yeah, no, he certainly looked quite comfortable in the second tall forward role.
I'm just thinking, like, imagine a couple of years from now, he's built, like, his body's gotten bigger, he's filled out a bit more, and he's dealing with the third tall because he's got two other, the Geelong have got two other genuine bigs to contend with, because he is only 190. Only 190. Yeah. But relative
Still
to a lot of the key forwards in
me.
the game these days, like compared to most of them, that's short for a key forward these days. So,
but he's also quite broad, and I think that and he's got long arms. I think being broad with long arms would really help.
It's a really valuable asset.
The other one too is Holmes's ankle injury. Now, I don't know if you saw at the end of the game, but on Fox, they showed that he had a moon boot on. Yep. Which is a better sign.
I still worry about like
I
still worry about like a high grade, like a syndesmosis, high ankle sort of thing. Basically, what Zach Butters just copped.
I thought he'd done his LCL, so I'm pleased he didn't.
Yeah, no, nothing to be seen on the knee, which is good.
Yeah. And an ankle, it's not great, but it's not the end of the world. Hopefully, I don't think it'll end his season.
Yeah, agreed.
I think we just had to win tonight.
We just got to get through.
Like,
oh, absolutely. Yeah.
This was one of those games where it was just like, right, we just have to win this. Manor, I think, is going to be fine for next week. I think, regardless, even if Holmes is fine for next week, I'd just give him a week off as, oh God, do we really want to risk it?
Max Holmes will need some time. Manor, I feel like they'll be conservative. And if it does seem like they were conservative anyway, like if the chips were down, if that was a final, I reckon he was probably in a position to keep playing. I think they took a very cautious approach there. But Geelong being Geelong, and Grimes come back and perform like he has. Brad Close was pretty solid straight out the gate as well. You've got Ollie Wiltshire, who didn't really hit the scoreboard, but I thought was absolutely fantastic in the way that he played tonight. Look around and go, okay, we've got three smalls, let alone Ollie Dempsey and what he does when he floats forward too. I think they'll look around and go, take the week, just get yourself right. And with so many players coming in tonight and doing a fantastic job, and we still had the luxury of managing someone like a Mark Blitzarves along the way, who's obviously not what he was, but is still a very important piece of the puzzle.
Still one of the best utility players of all time.
Yeah, so we've still got some good players to come back in.
I mean, Martin's probably still good to go. Injury
yeah,
wise.
well, that's right. His fit is just being managed as well. So I think we've got options there. I think it gives us reason to just play it safe. And I don't mean that in any sort of way that suggests we're going to take Melbourne lightly, because as things stand right now off the back of tonight, it would be a 6th versus 7th game. So definitely not taking them lightly, but you don't need to risk a hamstring.
Just want to say, I did say I told you so with how many changes we'd make this week.
I mean, I think you said 6 and we end up with 7, so they went
7,
even harder.
Yeah, I was like, we need to make at least 6, I reckon.
Yeah.
But I feel like as well, someone that could come into the side.
Turns out that, by the way, Jack Henry's turkey slap to the neck just didn't amount to anything. So
I was shocked. I thought that might have been give him a week just to be safe, but
he took it really well. I'm just going to eyeball everyone for a second while. All right, moving right along.
I think as well. The two players that we could bring in if we wanted to rest Manor, I think we could either bring back in Blitz or give Stevens a run through for Holmes.
George
Stevens. Not as a like for like swap, but as
it's definitely not a
bring...
like for like. Absolutely right.
Put Stevens into half-back and move Clark into the mid, maybe? Because Clark was brilliant. That was one of his best games.
We do love Clark. I worry about the speed thing. But
that is true. But at the same time, do we have a choice?
Exactly. Yeah, we don't have anyone. I mean, unless we decide to bring Hunter in for a debut, which we won't. Most likely,
that'd be scary for him.
That would be fantastic. Just when you think you've gotten away from Max Holmes, Hunter comes in, but that's just a bit of theatrics and fun and games.
Bit of pie in the sky.
Yeah, I mean, there's no one that we can bring in that's got the wheels that Max Holmes does anyway. So we're sacrificing a bit of speed there, regardless. So it might just be about shuffling the pieces. And Ben, for anyone watching and listening, it's just click the wrong one. There's a voicemail. Feel free, anyone, send through memo.fm/thehoopscrew. You can share your thoughts if you don't want to get on the call tonight, but you've got something you want to express beyond just the comments. Use memo to the memo link there that's on screen and in the chat. You share those thoughts, and I don't know, we'll check them out at some point and maybe fold them into content. I'd love to hear lots of people with thoughts and ideas on video ideas. We've taken a few ideas lately and turned them into videos. So if you've got thoughts, drop them in there.
There's two in chat that I've just seen. Is if Bruin's fit next week, put him in for Holmes. And another suggestion was Dempsey for Holmes. That could be an interesting one. Put Dempsey into the mid.
I think it was something they were flirting with during the preseason. So that could be something they'd explore. But you're right. Tanner probably comes back in. Tanner probably, presumably, I don't believe there was anything structural in the end.
No. From what I have heard,
it was a massive fright, like a massive scare as soon as necks are involved. But it seems like structurally, I believe he's okay. So if they're happy, if they're comfortable, if he's confident in his own body, then he probably comes in. Blitz, we've already spoken about. There is the option for Jack Barton.
From what I have heard from a friend who works in imaging, the imaging industry, and I'm not going to say who and I'm not going to say where, just because it'll get them in trouble. They were actually worried about not the neck up here, but the spine down between the shoulder blades from where the impact was. They were more worried about it. And in that kind of scenario, they will brace the neck to make sure any movement in the neck doesn't do
of course.
Down lower.
That makes sense.
There's one more thing as well that I reckon.
Yeah, go for it.
And here's my man, Hoffman.
Lenny. I mean, he is flying. He's signed an extension, didn't he, this week?
And he was great in the VFL last week.
He has been for quite a while now, to be fair. Yeah. He's been absolutely flying.
Put Clark into the mid, Hoffman off half-back. He's a half-backer naturally. That's where we've been playing him in the VFL, and he's been doing a good job. It'd be a risk to bring him in against Melbourne at the MCG. That's going to be, I think it's at the MCG, isn't it?
Yeah, it's at the G, Friday night.
Yeah. That'll be a hell of a first game, but he's been playing well. It wouldn't be a necessarily terrible idea. Yet someone in the chat put Bruin and Hoffy in for Holmes and Manor. I think that is potentially the play. I also think as well, go with what we know.
I think with the senior heads that are available, and someone like Blitzars, for example, then I don't think they'll quite go there. Jay Polkinghorne, brilliant tonight, obviously, but his opportunity came about because we got shot to bits all very quite suddenly when it came to our forward line. We needed someone to play a key forward role, and he was the obvious next pick in the queue.
Sure, but I mean, even just shuffling the magnets.
Yeah, and you're right. There's opportunities to shuffle the magnets. Yeah,
that I just think shuffling the magnets. I feel like maybe not next week, but if Holmes is still out, say we give him a fortnight to get better, then potentially Clark into the mid, put him in for Essendon. I think we have, or is it Collingwood?
It's Melbourne, then Collingwood, then Essendon.
I was thinking it was the Essendon game, and then in that case, then give him a run against Essendon in case something terrible happens and we need him for finals, and then that way his first game isn't a final, because that would be bad.
Oh, he's not. No one's. Yeah, we're not debuting anyone in the final.
I hope we don't have to.
Not
The way we're
unless
dropping like
the
flies at the
injuries,
moment.
Yeah, I think we'll be okay in that regard. But
Yeah.
Any other players? Anything else you wanted to kind of hone in on from tonight that really caught your eye?
Bailey Smith had a kilometre.
I make the Jack Henry joke as I did before, but he finished with 19 disposals on the night. He was fantastic.
Yeah, God, he was racking them up. Clark with the game high number of intercepts. That's great.
Yep.
And I really think that Close had a pretty good game too. His leg looked a little bit sore towards the end there, but there
was definitely something at the end there that bothered him. But I don't
think it was a cramp because he played out. He didn't come off. Well, he came off, but only about 5 minutes later, which to me says cramp maybe. And he was wandering around just fine at the end. So the fact that he was walking around just fine at the huddle, not even a hint of a limp, suggests maybe it was a cramp or a bit of a knock, and he just was sore in the second.
Yeah,
but I just reckon that bringing Myers back in, bringing Close back in, just allowed us to have that force moles again, and that was just a huge difference in the game.
Yeah. That's rightly pointed out there. O'Connor is not a certainty either. So we'll see what happens there next week. He was being worked on, like his quad was being worked on from essentially the beginning of the game. So it might have just been part of just part of their plan for the game that he was always going to get fairly regular, I guess, massages and check-ins.
Seems to be because he was getting one to the back half of every quarter.
Yeah.
And it was always around the same 10-minute mark. He goes off, gets a massage.
Because, geez, did the camera crews like looking at his quads tonight? They were all over him.
But if someone's been injured and then they've gone off several times to have the massage, that doesn't look great.
No, but it certainly allowed, for you to make observations like that one. So it's good. It's handy info.
My best on ground, though, for the day?
Go for it. I should have asked that of the chaps. My bad. Sorry, boys.
My best on ground for the day has to be Osh.
I was gonna say he's one that
his tag was so good again. He did a brilliant job. Was running with him, outdid him a few times.
Stuff. He popped up a little bit at the very very end of the game when the tag had been basically dropped at that point. So
game 100, they fed him one as well.
Yeah,
but
big fella, our new ruck Marshall had a perler.
I don't think we did too bad in the ruck. That's my other statement that might be a bit controversial. I don't think we did terribly.
No, I think Mitch Edwards still had a pretty solid game. He just got he got out muscled.
It was probably 45-55 to Marshall, but
oh no, I wouldn't go that far. I'd probably say it was a bit more skewed in favor of Rowan Marshall. But
no, that's what I was saying. Like 55 to Marshall, 45 to us.
Yeah, no, I'd probably be more like 65, 35, 70, 30. But only because of where he had his impact. He also finished with 33 disposals as a ruckman. But
he gets a lot of disposals. He always racks up a fair few because he's linkage. They link off half back with him.
Yeah, sometimes. But it was kind of. I think it was more about where he obviously floated in nicely into the forward line.
Those two goals,
some nice dish offs to teammates in great positions in the forward line as well. And look, honestly, I don't sit back and see that result of the ruck contest and go, Mitch Edwards isn't it. I think it's just it's just a physicality thing. Mitch is just going to continue to develop. Sorry, a physique thing, I should say. He's going to continue to develop. He's going to get stronger. We all knew this going into the year, that he was going to continue to need time just to build that body. And I still think I think, as you're saying, he still carried himself pretty bloody well. So
I also think games played too. Marshall has 50?
Of course. Yeah, he's got heaps more. It's runs on the board. It's experience, it's physique, it's all of it. So no real concerns. I do think Rowan Marshall probably had a stronger game in that one-on-one pairing personally, but Mitch Edwards was still great. And I think there's still plenty of heart that we can take from where he's at. Anyone else you want to decide at all?
Final one was just to circle back to Polkinghorne for a second. God, he reminds me of Pods Yardley. Someone on Fox said it, but God, he plays like it.
They cited the hunchback thing, which is that's fine. Gary Ablett Jr. had the hunch too. Like it's different,
He
totally
just
different positions, but
drops his shoulders, puts his weight lower.
yeah, and it works a treat. Now,
Pods was my favorite player as a
if
kid.
he can do that and kick the goal, that'd be great. But he, as I said with the chaps, he did have him from some difficult positions at points.
The only two signed football cards I have are James Podsiadly and Cam Guthrie's rookie.
Oh, nice. A real early one.
Yeah, I got that signed in Hobart Airport of all places. Sorry, not Hobart, Launceston Airport of all places.
Yeah, nice.
I picked it up at a garage sale, walked into the airport, and that was the year we won the grand final. The bye weekend. Walked in, and there he was in the airport, right where I was sitting down. It was funny as. Anyway, yeah.
No, thanks for coming on board. Yeah, I was going to say, did I derail your 3-2-1s there in the process?
Yeah. Polkinghorne for 3, could have had 6. Whoa. Bailey Smith, can't go wrong with a kilometre gained. Like, that is just insane. It doesn't get mentioned as much because it's Bailey Smith and he's good.
862, yeah.
Oh, was it? On Fox?
Oh, I mean, it's close enough at that point. No, it's close enough at that point. Don't worry about it.
At Fox, about halfway through the fourth, they said 10:42. I think someone might have typoed that then.
Yeah, possibly.
Geez, I reckon
Grind.
It's got to be Osh.
Oh, okay.
Grind, brilliant. But Osh's tag on Wanganeen Miller, I suck at saying his name. Just shut down what could have been the danger for the night. Because he just tears teams apart. Tasmania has several. Shockingly,
they only come in and out via boat. Sorry.
Hey, I'm from Tassie originally. I've moved to Victoria, but I'm from Tassie.
Well, mate, I'm gonna keep rolling through the guests, but thank you very much for coming on board. It's a work night for most of us, I'd imagine. So we won't kick on as long as usual. I'm looking at you, Horatio, and your red wine blinds.
I work nights, so for me, I'm just doing this whilst I've been actually working in the background. If you see me reach over and start typing, that's me. Make sure I'm working and moving my mouse.
Atush, if this sort of commentary continues to go on, we'll find you and we will kill you. Proper.
Myers is not leaving. Myers isn't leaving.
Legit taken.
He's
style.
not leaving.
But he's there to shit.
Isn't his contract not up for 2 years?
Oh, I can't remember.
I don't think he's up till 20.
There's no fire to this smoke that's popped up. Anyway,
best luck.
Thanks for coming on board, mate. Look forward to chatting again nice and soon.
Hopefully we have another win. And shout out Pop again. He's watching again. Loved it last week.
All right, mate. I'll chat to you soon.
Chat to you soon.
Yeah. All right. I believe the phrasing from Atush before was, has the American come on yet? So let's do that now. Where's my layout? There it is. And there's Ethan.
Yes, sir. Feels good to win again.
It is good. It's been far too long.
Yeah. I don't know how like Essendon fans.
I don't know how the teams do it. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. That felt good. I just thought overall we didn't do anything complex game plan wise. We just kind of took them on at key positions with maybe some less proven guys that really stood up and won their battles. I mean, the obvious one was obviously Oshin and Isaiah, and he did a very good job. But
yeah.
Sorry, I'm just enjoying the comments too. But
shout out to Matt Turner with his reference there of he's got as much chance of dating Sydney Sweeney as Brian has going to Carlton. So of course, Atush jumps on it saying, "Matt, you can do it. I believe in you."
I don't care if his set shots go way off. He missed a couple of tougher ones, but Jay Polkinghorne beat Cal Wilkie 1-on-1. That's amazing.
That's
Cal
huge.
Wilkie doesn't lose 1-on-1s.
No, that's almost his one wood, really.
And I think the comparison that I'm going to make, because he's kind of a tweener, he's not quite a true key forward, but he's not a small forward either, is a player that I would love for us to land in a couple of years, Logan Morris.
That'd be fantastic if we could pull him. But
if he's Logan Morris, but not quite as confident a set shot yet, I'll happily take that. And even if his radar's totally off, he's super valuable because he limited Wilkie. which is so hard to do. You know, last year we had to send blitzobs forward to take Wilkie out of the equation when we played him at home. I thought Jack Henry was going to do that. Instead, we kind of just took him back. And then I thought we set the tone from the start.
Which that was good too, by the way. You know, after Jack Henry having spent the last few weeks forward, of course, you know, Collar was in defense and we've dragged him out. That worked really nicely. That we looked more sound defensively with Jack Henry there.
Oh, definitely.
So hopefully that management becomes management for the remainder of the season.
Yeah. And then I thought Tom Atkins really set the tone early. He looked more like his 2025 form. That was really nice to watch. Because, again, 2025 was the best season of Atkins' career. He was brilliant. And he looked more like it tonight. Bailey Smith got a lot better as the game went on. Early was annoying that Max Hall goal where he didn't man up to him at all. But other than that, I thought he did a pretty good job bodying up to guys. Because, again, it's never a question of his ability to get the ball. It's a matter of what he does with it and what's he do when he doesn't have the ball.
Yeah.
And then...
What do you think about this idea? And just to quickly cycle, we've just talked Jack Henry, and of course it links. I think it links pretty closely to the Jay Polkinghorne thing. Matt's just jumped in here saying no more Jack Henry in the forward line. Obviously, Collar, our hope is hope is a horrible word to use.
I hope Collar gets in there against. Let's give him a send off against Essendon or Richmond or something.
Oh yeah, sorry, but yeah, in terms of that's a good point. But in any game where we're we must win this. We're playing finals. We're playing wildcard. Whatever it is, Collar's out. I don't mind the idea of Jack Henry going back into defense. And after the way he presented himself tonight, it is hard to think of Jay Polkinghorne missing out. And maybe he's that third tall that let's assume for a second that Jez is back and in time for those finals games. And you go, okay, well maybe he is that. He doesn't have to be a distraction like Jack Henry was. He can be a genuine target. That
I think we can have a mix of guys that we rotate between how DeConing jumps into the rock and had a very good defensive game tonight. One of the many unsung heroes tonight.
Yeah.
Then you had Jack can go, you can send him forward at the end of a quarter when we need something. Maybe get him out there in red time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think primarily he should be back defensively. I think pretty much all 7 of our ins were positive contributors tonight. Unsung hero, James Warple, who he might not be the most skilled guy, but when he isn't trying to do too much with the ball and he's working more to limit opponents, he's valuable, and he racked up tackles and clearances tonight. Let me pull up right here. He had, I think it was 6 tackles, second most on the team to Atkins, and 7 clearances, which is most on the team.
Yeah,
he played his role really well, and
he was second on the ground, only behind Rowan Marshall. So
yeah, I had the 7 broadcast, and his interview after was really good. He seems like just a good club guy and someone that you want to have succeed. So hopefully this leads to some consistency from him. That would be great. And then
that's fair.
I think it's pretty
clear.
Where
does that leave? And just because his name came up a moment ago, big fella asked, where does that leave Bose now? So obviously with all those ins, I was going to say, I think it's a pretty simple response to that one.
I hope, if he wants to stay at the club and try to win VFL Best and Fairest every year, that would be great.
But he doesn't want that. And I don't blame him for not wanting that either. So,
and I know he's about to become a father, so congratulations to Jack Bose, the human. Seems like a really good dude. Every guy at this club seems great, and it's annoying when the on-field performance doesn't match the great people, and we got to be critical.
Yeah, that's really great way of framing it. So,
Brian should not have been in the VFL as long as he was. Probably should have been there for a week to settle in, but man, he looked good tonight. And and Bailey Smith talked about it during the interview on Fox after. He
was very, very forthright and upfront, and I loved it.
Just the forward delivery was way better when we weren't just trying to bomb it on people's heads.
Yeah.
Which, I hate to keep taking shots at him, but you can probably get away with doing that against Essendon because they just don't have the guys to match up there. Maybe you can do it against the D's next week, actually. Other than other than maybe Turner, they don't really have that.
Just trying to think of. I'm going to quickly bring up their team for this week just to picture it a little bit in my head.
But just the entries were so much better, and I think just getting that first goal opened up so much for Grind, because that was his first goal of the entire year. Which is
and then he kicked 3 in the end. So was it 3 in the end?
And 4 assists. He was fantastic.
That's peak Grind sort of behavior, that one.
Best game he's played since round 1 against Freo, easily.
Yep.
The assist numbers all around were really good tonight.
Johnny's just asked, do they not have Lever? So, yeah, the defensive 6, just as they're named on the team sheet for everyone who's watching and listening. Melbourne have got Blake Howes, Daniel Turner, Trent Rivers, Chankuth Giath, Jake Lever, and Jake Bowie, as their back 6, obviously factoring in those on the bench as well. So, yeah, they do have Jake Lever, and he's a fantastic defender. I don't think he's what he once was. So he was the perfect foil for Stephen May. They really bounced off each other well in terms of the style of play, and I think without him, he is still a very, very, very good defender, but he is not elite anymore, I think.
The sort of matchup that Shannon Neal could really thrive on.
Potentially, yeah.
But I thought, Ryan was really good. Even though his minutes were limited by some of his health, I thought Mark O'Connor was actually really good. I thought first quarter he was one of the best on ground and really helped set the tone. I think he might have taken it personally, getting pushed around by Connor McKenna a couple weeks ago. And again, even though he was limited, still managed 72% time on ground. I just thought this was one of his more quietly productive games.
Yeah. No, I do think to Johnny's point before, and I didn't think about it at the time, but when he raised the point, it made a lot of sense that, he did absolutely towards the back end of every quarter. He went to the bench and he got the work on the quad. It does leave me feeling a bit more confident that maybe something didn't happen in game and it was all just part of his management.
I think so. And I think as a whole, just our management plan tonight, Blitzov's as valuable as he is, and as he continues to age, and we talked about this last week, he needs a rest now and then.
Yep.
And you would think he would draw back in next week. It's just a question of where. But I think you got to have him in and kind of rotate guys on gone. Obviously, you would think O'Sheen goes to Kazi, and then you rotate guys on Big Max.
Yeah, I don't even know what we do about Max Gorn.
What does worry me, I thought we did a good job. I was worried that Hall could kind of get off the chain on us, and he didn't do a ton, because that's the type of guy that usually gets up on us, someone who can kind of stretch and roam. I'm worried a little about what Chandler could do next week, but I thought overall we did a really good job against their midfield. Like Wilson had an all right game. Filippo was pretty good for them, and I'm glad to see him playing better.
The thing I noticed kind of about Filippo, though, and he did a great job with all the possessions he had, and he got quite a lot of them. But I felt like a lot of the time he was running in the opposite direction. Like he was that link in the chain. He'd kind of run back 10 meters and then try and hit a target. Like it was necessary for the scenarios where he picked the ball up, but he wasn't unfortunately pushing the ball forward. And it did actually. Now I'm looking at his numbers from his 28 disposals. It led to 331 meters gained. So it wasn't because he did something wrong. It's because of where he was required. So I think we did a good job of limiting how offensive he could be. And he is a fantastic offensive weapon. I think we did a great job of putting him in those positions.
He's a player that I've really liked, and it's nice to see him finally seeming to find some traction. And then the other one, Garcia, first half was pretty clearly their best. And then I think we did a good job shutting him kind of shutting him out of the equation second half when Marshall and Wilson played better. And then the one other, and I got the same perception from Saints fans in between their bitching about the umps. I thought late the mid-season
he was solid. Yeah,
he's good. Yeah, he's just kind of been a burst of energy. Speaking of energy,
he's very busy.
Jai Clark.
Yep.
Again, the Joel Selwood comparisons are unfair. They were unfair from the start. I don't know where those came from because he's not the same type of player, but he was just kind of a ball of energy in defense where it felt like whether it was the tackles or just the way he got into contests, every intercept, it felt like he just had an extra level that he was playing to intensity-wise, and I think that kind of permeated the whole team. I don't know how much of it was, during the 5-day break, someone really lighting into them during a film session or a training. But I thought he really exemplified that. I mean, everyone stepped up and followed it, but especially him.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Just quickly looking through the list of players for others that I wanted to kind of acknowledge. I mentioned it once or twice in the Discord, and he's kind of been a name that's been just buzzing around in my head. Ollie Wiltshire. I was really happy. Like, he didn't hit the scoreboard at all tonight. But I loved what he brought to the game tonight. Like,
he wasn't around the action as much as he was maybe first half last week, but when he was around it, he was productive.
Yeah, and he was physical. Like, he burst into contests, hit them with speed. He kind of needs to at the moment because he's not built like a big brick shithouse. So like he was hitting him with speed, and that allowed him to burst through a few tackles.
And then did have one that I wrote down, I think, where I guess I don't have it listed here, but he ran into somebody. It wasn't Stalker. It was somebody else that he ran into and like really knocked to the ground good.
Yeah.
As for Clark, he just needs to be cleaner with the actual disposals out of the back.
Yeah, that's the weakness.
There were a couple, especially there was one that nearly gave up a goal in the third quarter, and there was one that did in the fourth, but I think he'll learn from that.
I think that ultimately, I mean, the kick itself was fine enough. That was just a poor decision, I think, to go for it in the end. Or actually, I won't even go with that because Tom Stewart called for it too. I think it was more that Jack Silvani just read the play really well. Like
that shouldn't happen.
It shouldn't happen. No, it shouldn't happen. But I think, yeah, I'll give a little bit of extra credit in there to Jack Silvani, who cottoned onto it and got there in time.
Yeah.
Tom Stewart himself had a few rough moments himself.
Yeah, we did a really good job on Silvani, and my biggest takeaway from watching the Saints the last few weeks was how well Silvani and Wilkie have played off each other. And we took care of that tonight. We took care of a pretty good back line in general. Yeah. Caminiti did pretty much nothing. He's very up and down. Stalker, I think he had a couple that we kind of served up for him, and other than that, took care of him. Travaglia didn't do much. Unsung hero for us tonight.
Was non-existent. Jack Higgins was shut down. Yeah, we ticked a lot of boxes across the board tonight.
Did a good job on Hill, generally rendered him less effective. But they had a few guys that were just kind of invisible, like Owens, who I really like.
Liam Henry. Liam Henry was, I don't know what he was doing.
Yeah. Saints fans were ripping on Burns for some of his early turnovers.
Couldn't even tell you much about the bloke, to be honest.
Yeah, he had 4 turnovers, and he didn't get that much of the ball. So,
Big fella says, did we not give any love to O'Sullivan? And his name hasn't really come up tonight. I think he did some really good things.
He was fine. I feel like he's just been kind of...
We just assume that he's going to be excellent at the moment.
Yeah, I think him and DeConing both are just kind of known quantities right now, which is really nice. I think other unsung hero that I really wanted to get to was Lawson Humphreys. Yeah. I thought he was really good tonight, just launching attacks, moving, coming smooth out of the back. It looked kind of like what Wayne Miller has done at his best for the Crows this year, I think would be a fair comparison.
Yeah.
Where it's like, whether it's a shorter kick or a long one, he's hitting the right guy. He's setting things off. What was it? I was looking at the 5 score involvements, 6 intercepts, and nearly 90% efficiency. He made the most out of what he was doing. And I think teams are going to have to start following him more closely out of the defensive 50.
Look, I'm surprised it hasn't happened already because he is such a weapon.
And Johnny Zodiac said Sully slipped a lot. He did, but so did everybody. I don't know if some of the grass had just been replaced or if it was just the way the surface was playing, but it was not just Sully, but it was especially him.
Yeah, it was, especially there was one particular play where he slipped 3 times in the same play.
Yes,
And I was just like, mate, what is going on? So we'll see what happens there. Spartacus asked, any news on Stengel? No, I think the current prevailing theory is that he is done. And then just the speculation purely within our own communities, and I think the club might be low key hoping that the AFL can get involved such that they can actually take him off the books. But
I hope for
I think
Tyson's
all of us would love to see Tyson get himself right and get back out there, because not only is he a brilliant footballer and a valuable asset on field, but you just don't want that for people in the first place. So
yeah, I wish him well, and I hope that he holds up his end of the bargain just to stay in communication with the club, because that's the biggest issue. You can't just vanish. You got to give people heads up, and that's true at any occupation at any degree.
Yeah, no, agreed.
I think overall, my biggest takeaway from tonight is just like, we have enough quality pieces that we don't have to run injured players out there. We have enough options down on the twos that can play at the AFL level.
Agreed.
That we don't have to send someone out there. And whether it's because they're underperforming or because they're not at 100%. And I wish we had made some of these changes sooner. And it shouldn't have taken the collapse last week to be the wake-up call there. Because
no, let's be honest. It shouldn't have taken them to finally watch my video and take me seriously.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna build this narrative out of it.
How many points have we let go? We have probably at least 12 points, if not 16, that we could have had if we had taken care of business.
Yeah. It's disappointing what could have been, in a few ways, especially given the injuries. Like, if we'd managed to turn a few things around, address things a little bit sooner, wouldn't say the injuries weren't going to happen, but it was just, we'd give ourselves a bit more of a buffer, a bit more protection.
Yeah. No, the club should not be knee-jerk reaction-y to the extent that fans are, but I think at times, and I said this after Saturday's loss, I think we've been a bit too casual on some things and expecting, this will just work itself out. And I think the right solution is probably to be somewhere closer to the club's level of patience, but not as complacent as we've been at times. Polished turd for tonight has to go to Rowan Marshall. He was pretty clearly the Saints' best, especially in that third quarter. Matthias Phillippo and Darcy Wilson, other positives for them. I really do hope Darcy Wilson reconsiders, because he's a good player. I like him.
It sounds like he is now agreed to terms and he's poised to sign, but it is a shorter term contract, like 2 to 3 years.
All right, see what they do from there, but would have been nice.
I think that's largely because he recognizes that he can still value add to his contract going forward. So sign a shorter one, extract more, whether it's at St. Kilda or some other club, in 2 to 3 years. Gives him time. That would end. That contract would also expire then after Naz's 2-year one. That 2-year extension at infinite dollars. So he might be able to read the room and see where the club is going and make some similar decisions, albeit with a smaller pay packet.
It's also very funny when you talk about infinite dollars. And then
nothing compared to any sport in your country.
Look at what, outside of NHL contracts are pretty modest, but you look at what
would they be out of interest? What's pretty modest? Because obviously that's going to be relative to the NBA and the NFL.
Yeah,
what's a typical contract look like there for the NHL?
Highest average annual value right now is, Kirill Kaprizov is making $17 million a year. Okay. There are only a handful that are over $10 million a year.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. It's a significant difference in scale relative compared to.
And that's also it's also a sport that you gotta have depth. You can't just pay a couple of top guys. You gotta have a full roster in order to compete.
Yeah. Right. Fairly ignorant to the sport, unfortunately, for the most part.
It's a great sport. It's incredibly frustrating and unfair, and a lot of times the better team doesn't win, but it's a great watch. And the in-person experience versus the TV experience is not even close. It's such a good live experience. Highly recommend to anyone if you get the chance. I know they sent a few years ago a couple of exhibition games down. It was the Kings and back when they were still the Coyotes. And actually I remember this distinctly. The Kings got their first introduction to footy with the Collingwood GWS prelim.
Yeah, okay.
Which, they got like a true home crowd at the G instead of a mixed crowd. It was like, 98% Collingwood.
Oh, yeah, those Pie supporters when they're out en masse.
Yeah, but like, I'm sure just, as a neutral observer, it's got to be a surreal experience. Anyway, honorable mentions tonight before votes. Honorable mention, Tom Atkins. Again, he really set the tone. Lawson Humphreys, just huge, clean coming out of the back, burst out quickly, launched some good counterattacks, super composed. Bailey Smith got better and better as the game went on. And then James Warple, I just thought he embraced his role really well tonight. Going to give one to Jai Clark, and maybe if it wasn't for a couple of those turnovers, he could have been even higher.
Certainly by halftime, I was saying he was, and we were discussing it, we were Atkins versus Jai Clark. And then Clark, I think some of the butchered disposal just meant he slipped a bit for me.
2, I will go with Ryan. And then 3, I'm going to go Ollie Dempsey. Even if it wasn't his highest efficiency game, I thought he just had such a high motor, impacted the game all over the ground, would get involved with an intercept in the defensive 50, and then somehow he's in the forward 50 and just played at this super proficient level, just with a higher motor than most guys out there, and had a couple of goals for himself and just a really smooth overall game. And player ratings didn't love him. Player ratings are interesting tonight. They had Rowan Marshall by far the highest, because if you're doing a bunch in the ruck plus picking up 30 disposals, that's gonna go well. So will the 15 ground ball gets.
Yeah.
And then for us, our tops, they had Ryan, then Bailey Smith, and then they had Holmes as our third best, actually. And between Smith and Holmes, they had Campbell Lake and Hugo Garcia. That's interesting.
Campbell Lake,
they graded Ollie Henry really well too.
Yeah, I thought he played a good game. But I think across the board, the forwards were better off this week because we lowered the eyes. We stopped, and surprise, surprise, Grind's back for that. But we lowered the eyes. We looked for a leading target rather than bombing it in there. And going back to we referenced the Fox Footy conversations before. Baz acknowledged that in his post-game interview. He spoke about him and Max and how they bomb it in. It was just so nice to have Grind there, someone who can lace out a target. Can we also just big fella? A few people are really and Atush are really enjoying the way that you say Warple just with the accent. So give us another one before we finish up. But there we go. Warple.
And then just a bunch of unsung heroes tonight. I think we can lean on our depth. We can find solutions. Guys are going to have to step up into bigger roles, but I don't see any reason we shouldn't be able to.
Yeah. No, I agree. We're in a good spot.
I feel, let's prove that we can do something outside of our own ground, because I think we don't have that many wins outside of
GMHBA, yeah.
We had one at Norwood. We had one at the GABA. We have one at the G. And I think that's about it. So we got some tests coming up. The Ds haven't lost at the G yet. It would be great if we could change that. In fact, our win at the G, I think it's just the one against Collingwood. That was technically a home game for us. We have one where there's technically an away game. But it will be nice not having to get on a plane again for a while, because we sucked out of state this year.
Yeah. We've been pretty rough in that respect.
1 in 5 out of state, unless you include gather round. But this was a step in the right direction. And just the intensity and energy looked really good. And if we can parlay that into some consistency, we could be in a pretty good position here.
We can still be very, very dangerous. get those wins on the board, buy some time for someone like Jezza to come back. Potentially, how long have you got for, maybe final question I've got for you? How long have you got for Max Holmes? How many weeks?
I don't know. I'm thinking it's not necessarily, we're thinking it's not knee ligaments, which is huge. I'm thinking it might just be like a hyperextension or a bad ankle sprain.
I just worry the syndesmosis part. I just look at that and I go, oh, hang on, it stinks of Zach Butters' current plight, which is.
But it kind of got caught underneath him. So I'm not sure what it was.
And it got wrenched in both directions through that whole slide. It went left
so I
and
have
went
no
right.
idea where it's going, but he looked like he was in pretty good spirits after. So that encourages me, but I would expect, at least 3 or 4 weeks. And that's being optimistic, but who knows? Could be something weird where we dodged a bullet.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Didn't look good, but we'll see how it goes.
But feeling good about where this thing's heading, and I guess it's another opportunity. I guess, Tanner Bruin, here's your chance to do something big next week, or maybe, I still prefer Dempsey on the outside because I think he really exploits those mismatches.
Yep.
But if we have to try him in the middle, okay. I think we've got enough pieces to shuffle around. We've got guys we can test things with. We've got options. And tonight those options worked out.
Yeah. And hopefully that continues.
And I will play into the comments one more time. I do hope to be back in Melbourne next year.
So I'll quickly grab Morris then at the same time. Melbourne to Melbourne. It's all a mess. Don't worry about it. But yeah, it'd be good to have you back. But you're not the only American within our own community, and we've got one here in the country right now. So people need to be
glad Craig got to see a win tonight.
Yeah, it is good. Hopefully, while he's here, you can see a few more.
Yep, let's go hand the D's their first loss at the G next week.
Yes, that'd be good. Because they're at Marvel. They're at Marvel this weekend. So even if North pip them, it's not going to change anything. So
yeah, anyway, they already have a loss at Marvel anyway. The Dogs got there.
Yes, true. Yeah, that was Oh, geez, that was a good game to watch too.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
We'll do this all again. I think it's next Saturday. No, next Friday after
Friday
the D's
night
game. So hopefully we can bank ourselves a win there. Whether it's, I don't know, Ben, you're watching. I'm eyeing off going to that one. So
it is a Friday double.
Yeah. Oh, it's a double. Jeez, the AFL doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah, there's also the Western Derby. And yeah, if you missed it, Polished Turd was Rowan Marshall.
Yep. Very nice. Right, well, mate, thank you as always for coming on board.
Let's keep winning. Go Cats.
Yeah, it's a nice feeling. All right, mate. Thanks for coming on board, and we'll chat soon.
Yes, sir. Go Cats.
Firstly, before we bring Ben Harris in next, to Ben Reeve, who says, "Can Postgame Live go until 2 a.m.? Let's make it happen." Ben Reeve, get fucked. It's a work night. I'm not copping any 2 a.m. bullshit. That said, we're 11:30 and we've got a couple more to go. So just needed my rant at Ben's expense. All right, done. Speaking of Ben's, let's bring in Ben Harris next. When I find the layout in here, there's so many of them. There we are. Ben, how we going?
Good. It was.
I'm noticing no blinds, like no curtains in the background, like I requested before.
I'm in the car, so
yeah, no, I could pick it
nothing,
before.
Nothing in here. No, good win. It was like last year when we played them. We kicked the first 5 of the game last year, won by 5 goals. Kicked the first 4 tonight. And that was the difference.
Won by 4 goals, yeah.
A few
arms reach from that point on.
A few jump time goals they got was a bit annoying, and we just a few lapses in times, which is going to happen. The team will get ahead, but in the third quarter, it did look a bit dangerous. They were coming hard, and then Cooper Sharman ran into an open goal and missed, and that was the end of it. There was no chance after that.
Snuffed it out at that point. Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
On the Cats side of the fence, I'd imagine some of the names you're going to mention are probably some of the same names that have been brought up throughout the night anyway. But who were some of the players that really caught your eye? What were some of the highlights from this game? And by the way, Ethan's just commented in there saying that John Ralph, so admittedly not a club medico, but John Ralph pretty well in touch with the different clubs. Syndesmosis for Holmes could be out until finals.
I think, yeah. So hopefully
him and Jezza come back for game one of the finals.
Ooh,
which is not a wild card because we're going to bank all these wins.
Big in, hopefully. I think tonight, Myers was great. He turned it over a bit early, but kicking goals and getting assists as well. Like, where's he been? Why hasn't he been in the team when he's fit? I don't know what's going on there. But
well, he did speak about it. He did speak about it in the post game, and he talked specifically about the fact that he himself was a bit mindful of his knee. The coaches had sensed it, and so it was go back there, get yourself informed, get the confidence in your own body, and you'll be back. Yeah. And he's back. What's Spartacus is saying 2 a.m. minimum now. If enough super chats roll in that we get to 2 a.m., then sure, we'll go to 2 a.m. and I'll just talk to everyone the whole way through, even if it's just me and myself at that stage. But the super chat numbers are going to have to be significant.
If Ben Reeve wants it to go to 2 a.m., he should just take over.
To be fair, we'll see. He won't.
Yeah, I think. Tonight was just good to be back on the winners list. Good to see some fresh legs into the team that really gave some energy. Warple was great on his return. So was Myers, as I said. Clark had his best ever game, but Clark, please don't turn it over when you're uncontested. Like you will get a contract and you will be good if you don't do that. Just turn it over down the line. No one remembers when you turn it over, just kicking it long. We remember where you kick it short and turn it over, and twice it led to their goals. So Clark, just please fix that up. Like
it's and look, obviously, Clark was a significant contributor in that regard tonight, but it's been the problem for the Cats all year. We bring ourselves unstuck with those sideways kicks. That's all those 45-degree kicks that they're out of defense specifically. Doesn't happen when we bomb the ball long. Not that there's problems that come from bombing the ball long as well, but I'd rather that and be able to set up structurally than to keep turning it over 20, 30 meters out.
And 12 intercepts and 2 contested marks is really good. He's a good contested mark, Jai Clark, which is interesting.
He was very good over his head,
considering his size. But it's that factor he just needs to fix up. The Polk, what a debut! He could have kicked 5. We know that his set shot isn't the best, and I'm not going to say like when he fixes it he'll be great, because you never know. He might not fix it. I'm not being negative. I'm not being negative.
No, but you're being pragmatic about it. No, I get it. What am I? Oh, damn it! The ID just disappeared. Sorry, keep going. I had a question for you. It'll come back. Oh no, sorry about Polk. Do we have any idea where this dragon, the dragon, like nickname has come from? Like, does he think he's Cisco, or is he going to start belting out? Oh, hang on. If this dragon thing sticks, then every single time he kicks a goal, his goal song needs to be the thong song. Like it has to be the dragon. That's it, done. Oh,
or a song from a song from Imagine Dragons. That'd be a good one.
I mean, yeah, sure. If you want to bore the crowd. No, no, I don't mind Imagine Dragons, but
I think we'll be
just Python.
Dragon these Wow.
But between that and the Jack Henry getting turkey slapped in the neck last night, like we can't help ourselves with the inappropriate comments. So
just on the Polk as well, like he dominated against Carl Milkey, like as well. Like Carl Milkey usually just dominates one-on-one and against us as well, because he just always plays on Ollie Henry and dominates him and stuff. But no, he was really good tonight. All our back line was really good. None of their forwards did anything. Like all their forwards were terrible, did not impact whatsoever. Rowan Marshall was good on for them, but I didn't think I'm not watching. I didn't think, we got to stop Marshall. Like we're gonna lose because of him and stuff. Like I never.
No,
really
I didn't think he was going to be the
thought that
difference. He was absolutely winning the contest in the ruck by, in my mind, a considerable margin. Not so much the ruck, but like the role of the ruck because of just what he was doing around the ground. But I still think the pairing of Mitch Edwards and Sam DeConing was pretty fantastic. Those two had combined 42 hitouts between them and 31 disposals, just shy of the 33 disposals that Rowan Marshall had, and 31 hitouts himself. So when you look at the pairing, we got the better of him still. I mean, outside of the 2 goals won.
Yeah, DeConing had a really good game as well. 19 disposals. I thought he had a bit less, but 19 disposals. And him and Jack Henry both had 19 as well. So they were both really good. Good to see Jack Henry back in the back line where he belongs. Just with the amount of changes we had and the response we got and the fresh legs was really, really good.
Ben Reeve, Gary wants a pizza. Get him a pizza. I don't know why, but get him a pizza.
Shannon from Shannon Pizza.
Is there some old Shannon Pizza thing that he hasn't provided yet? That sounds like something Ben would do. Cheapskate. Hasn't paid me all year.
Oh no, is there conflict?
Oh, look out! It's all going to go to shit.
Oh no. I think what is this like some Oasis? Is this some like Oasis type? Oh
yeah, massive feuds coming, but we'll pretend like it's fine, and then all of a sudden.
To be fair, we don't really notice you two on the stream together, so there's a few signs.
Yeah, he just fills in whenever I'm not there, and I fill in whenever he's not there. We try to make sure we're at the same place so we don't talk. It's good, but I'll have the chaps on anytime, just like they did tonight.
Chaps were great. Shannon Neal actually kicked a goal, which was surprising because I didn't really remember that. It was a bit flat from him, but
that was the one that Jay Polkinghorne kind of blocked for blocked Kel Wilkie out, or kind of legally, ran the contest, got wrapped up with him and Scratch bobbled it and took the mark.
Just Baz. Really good game as well. Turns it over a bit, but whatever, that just happens.
It's part of his game.
Baz was back to some of his better efforts tonight. Warple really impressed me. I know his disposal efficiency wasn't great, but that's like every player. And Mullen, he had a really successful tag for the first time in a bit. Oh no, actually last week he was really good on Callahan, and they dropped it for some reason. It was a bit silly, but no, Mullen, really good tag on Naz, and then Naz, he got a few touches late when he was at full forward and stuff. So, well done to him. I think all aspects of the ground tonight. I can't really think of anyone who was a disappointment. I know Dangerfield was a bit quiet, but it's just whatever.
No, but I thought Danger was good too, and when we needed him to step up, he stepped up. And look, just going into this one, I'd spoken about in the previews and all those sorts of things. Like he was very clearly limping through that final term last week. I think he was, and we saw him getting the hamstring strapped up again tonight. Like he's not 100%. So I'm okay with him just having impactful moments and otherwise a subdued-ish sort of night. I don't think he played a poor game, but he just went about his business. 73% of game time for Danger suggests that maybe it's not so bad. But anyway.
That was interesting. All right, my phone's on 10%, so I'll stay here till I'm on 5. So I'll quickly go through the 3. Paul has been a disappointment. Oh, jeez. This beef is crazy. We're going to have a mediation session soon.
An intervention. And in that intervention, we asked the community to vote on who stays, and of course Ben loses, and that's it.
Cool. All right, I'll go through my 3, 2, 1. So because I won't be here for long. So 1 goes to Ollie Dempsey, 2 goes to Bailey Smith, and 3 goes to Brian Myers. 3 disposals, 3 goals, 4 goal assists, 22 disposals was great to see him back. Hopefully he continues his spot for the rest of the year. Just a quick thought on next week. Melbourne at the G haven't lost there this year, but if there's any club that's going to beat them there, it's going to be us. We know what we're capable of. We know what challenges we can do. We know. Let's just hope that probably Holmes. Grind. I don't think so, Tush. I'm sorry.
There is no fire to the smoke that's been popping up this week. I'm very confident in that.
Kane. I just want to shout out Kane Corns real quick. Actually, I want to have a go at him a bit. Jake from Saints TV, his 3/4. He does how he does a quarter updates every time.
Yeah.
He at Jake's 3/4 time tweet about the scores and stuff. Kane tweeted that he just did an unnecessary tweet on nothing personal. He just said, said like, oh, well, it's hard when you come up against a top 10 team rather than the bottom 4 team. He just did it for it. Kane, it was just a bit unnecessary on Jake.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at it now. Yeah, hang on, I'll
a bit unnecessary.
I'll quickly project.
Like
it
you were doing it for attention. You knew the reaction you were going to get. You've been away all week. Like, where have you been? Like you've earned $1 million a year for nothing.
We'll just flick into that mode, bring it back, bring Ben back because I just kicked him out, and now the graphic's gone. There we are. There was the tweet, and there was Kane's response.
Kane, it was a bit unnecessary. Like you can have that opinion that they struggle against like top. You didn't need to tweet that though, because it was just like, it was a bit unnecessary. It was dangerous, stupid. That's people respond to that. And
it's just petty.
It's petty. It was a bit shit. It was a shitty thing for him to do on that.
Let me get that layout right.
I feel like calling his radio show and having a go at him, because every time someone actually has a go at him, he actually like cracks it up. Like I've heard him like multiple times, and someone, like Mark Robinson had a go at me for saying that Adam Muse doesn't have. I remember him saying that one day. He doesn't even defend himself when someone has a go at him. He just complains that they're having a go at him. Oh my gosh! I'm actually a fan of his work, but he's been away.
Kane does some good stuff from time to time, but he just look. I think the reality is when you put so much out and you are a bit of a lightning rod for stuff, it means that not every interaction is going to be the best one. You miss from time to time, like any comedian. Their highs are high, but they do still miss from time to time.
When we joke about something that you probably shouldn't. It's that sort of like thing.
Yeah.
Honourable mentions, back on the Geelong. Honourable mentions tonight to Warson Humphreys, Mullen, the Polk. Wiltshire competed well. I know he didn't get much of the ball, but Wiltshire competed really well. So did Ollie Henry, I thought, a couple of times. Just really good. We didn't let Wilkie and Silvani influence the game, and our back and none of their forwards did as well. And Marshall, while having 30 touches, 2 goals, 12 clearances, 30 hit-outs, it didn't seem like Marshall's going to be like the difference here, like that sort of thing.
Yeah, and that's fair. I don't think he was. Yeah, I think we discussed before. He wasn't necessarily going to break the game open, but he was scary good. It was a nice reminder for Cats fans what we almost had.
Well, just on that as well, like Caroline Wilson said about Marshall and his trade value, saying Marshall's been in terrific form the last few weeks. He's in terrific form because Tom De Koning's not playing and he's the number 1 ruck. That's his role. Up forward, he's rubbish.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like, I don't know what'll happen. What'll he'll do. He might stay, but he'll be the second. He'll be playing up forward, which he hasn't really.
He doesn't love doing that. So
he doesn't. So we'll see what happens. I do think Carlton is actually like the fit for him, to be honest.
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
I am on 5%, so I will. It's 10 to 12, so I will head off and let someone else join. Thanks, Paul, for the show. We'll probably chat around in the Discord again this week, and we'll prepare for the big game against Melbourne next week.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on board, mate. Chat soon.
Thanks, Paul. See ya.
Yeah. All right. And Kez Peaches says that I love that from Corn. He's a master baiter. You know exactly what you're saying there. Very well played. All right. We are on to what is currently, and usually Horatio is the one that signs us off. Well, there's no one else in the green room there waiting. So we go from the green room to the red wine blinds. once I find the fucking layout. There it is. How's things, mate?
They're good.
Oh, there's a gentle caress of the blinds there.
Yes, just feeling the material.
Just taking it all in.
Yeah, don't want to just
glad the camera's on your chest up.
Yeah, yeah. I hate to disappoint the throngs of fans out there that love the curtains. Little like when I had to get rid of the curtain. Like I've told the story before, I had to get rid of the curtains and replace it with something. Because the windows in here are funny. It's sort of a 50s house, so the windows are a funny height, and they don't make. It's hard to find curtains that fit anymore. Little did I know when I bought these curtains that they would garner a following of their own.
Yeah, well,
they've become a thing of legend.
And actually, Bless has just dropped it there, and I did hear someone make a reference earlier on to getting some sort of sponsorship. Ben Reeve, you're doing nothing as per usual. Go hit up $1 Curtains and Blinds or some other curtain-based company. We need a sponsorship.
Yeah. Well, actually, my dad was made curtains for a living. Funnily enough. Yeah, he ran a business. He ran a business doing curtain fittings and that for the rich and famous for a number of years.
Yeah, Sarah's right. You can't get rid of them now. They are a part of the Horatio identity when it comes to all Hoops Crew content.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about the game though.
Well, I don't know about you, but I feel pretty vindicated.
Yeah, I've spent a fair chunk of the last few days feeling pretty vindicated. Ever since match committee, I've been feeling pretty good about myself.
Yeah, I after last week's debacle at the selection table, when they made usually it's not a good thing, having 7 changes is usually not.
It's never a good look. No,
it's never ideal, and it doesn't usually end in a win. But I did make the point and that's the other thing too, Ben. Just I can recommend some great tattoo parlors for you when you're ready to go and get my name applied to your body wherever that's going to be. But yeah, just
right above the cheeks, just on that lower back,
maybe on the cheeks.
Property of Horatio.
Yeah, they put it on the cheeks because then I can say I own his ass. But yeah, I said when he was sort of like, I'll get your name tattooed on my, I'll get your name tattooed on my person if we win tonight. And he sort of said, when you make that many changes, you don't win. I'm like, look, the thing is, some of them, even the injured guys are guys that we've been saying we want out of the side for weeks, and the guys that have come in are the guys that we've been a lot of us have been saying we want to see these guys in the side. We want to give them a run. And, I sort of thought, okay, we're going to make some we'll make some forced changes and all that. But then when they basically we got to drop these blokes, so we might as well, cut the guys that really haven't been playing well at all. And then, they brought in the guys that, we've been wanting to see for a while. It's like, yeah, we're winning this game.
Yeah.
And, considering that all of those guys tonight played particularly well, made significant contributions to the outcome. I was starting to think, man, do I know anything about football at all? Maybe I just got no idea what I'm talking about, because whatever I'm thinking they should be doing, they're doing the complete opposite of what I think they should be doing. So, maybe I'll watch it. Maybe I'll watch it a different team. I don't know. But like to have those guys come in and do the things that they did tonight, it's like, well, what more can you say? You know, we've been calling this for weeks.
They took way too long, but we finally got the right calls. Quite Strength Studio talking about, as soon as we drop Collar, we win. Blessed says we need to keep Collar needs to stay back in the twos. Yanko's also popped in saying, how good would Marshall look in the Geelong colours? I back in Mitch Edwards, especially as he gets more time to develop his body. But you do see a game like that. And look, Rowan Marshall's had a good history against us, to be fair. But
yeah, well, that's what I said. It's like, remind me when the last game that Rowan Marshall didn't get Brownlow votes against us was, and he'll get votes again tonight too. I'm telling you.
Oh, absolutely, he's got a feature in there. He, losing team, comfortably losing despite the margin. Maybe the best he can get is 1, but
yeah, I mean, he was their best player by a country mile tonight.
Absolutely, no doubt about it.
So, and look, look, here's the thing. I can't remember where I heard it, but I heard talk that he's actually still keen to come across.
Yeah,
he's actually still interested in coming to Geelong. So,
what does that do for Mitch Edwards though? Like, given where he's at, and obviously we didn't have this information at our disposal 12 months ago, but given where he's at now, if someone like Rowan Marshall or some other established ruckman were to come across, what does that do to Mitch? Or what do we do with Mitch at that point? Like, it's
I think most clubs are playing 2 rucks now, and I think what you saw tonight, and it's not the first time we've seen it. Like, I think his ruck craft is developing quite well.
Yeah.
Look, he's had a great attack on the ball from day one. Where he lacks is his ability to get himself involved in the play around the ground. And if he is having to, as what happened with Marshall tonight, if he's having to look after the opposition ruckman, his defensive work just isn't. It's not there yet. So I would, if we were to get Rowan Marshall, I would still be playing Mitch Edwards for sure. And then that means we don't have to, Blitz may be done at the end of this year. I would not be surprised if that was the case.
We can stop screwing around with Sam DeConing. We can keep him in a more solid defensive position. All those sorts of things.
Yeah, exactly. And so yeah. And look, he's been a bloody good, and Rowan Marshall's been a bloody good ruckman for quite some time now. So, if you've got a great experienced ruckman there, who better to have? Because look, the reality is, Blitz is not really what you would call a pure ruckman, right? He can play the ruck, but if you're sort of talking about pure ruck craft, we haven't really had. It's like, okay, we've got Reece, but he's also going to be done. But I would even argue that we've like Reece has sort of had to learn how to be a ruckman, whereas I think Rowan Marshall is more of a natural ruckman. So having him at the club and having a guy like Mitch, a young bloke like Mitch Edwards, who's still building up his body. Because he'll bulk up in
That's really the only weakness here. Like his actual, like you said yourself, his ruck craft is great. He plays the game, I think, the way we want him to play the game. He just showed it reared its head a little bit tonight. Like he's just physically not the size of some of his opponents yet. That's going to get there in time, you would imagine.
Yeah, exactly. And just, you can see that he has
the Max Gorn contest next week. Like that does worry me a little bit.
Yeah, but you saw on a few occasions tonight where, he's getting himself in the right kinds of positions. but you've got to be able to hold your ground and to put a body on, and he just doesn't have the physical tools just yet to be able to do that. And some of that is about your actual physical strength, but part of that also is the experience of knowing, where to position your body and how to stand and all that kind of thing to get maximum impact, all that sort of stuff, So,
and with someone like Brad Otten's working with him, he's got a good coach there to support him as he continues to develop it.
Exactly, but having that
Quiet Strength has just shouted out Brad Otten's at the same time. So,
but yeah, having an experienced quality ruckman on the ground at the same time, that would also make a big difference. But I mean, don't get me wrong. I think we could both agree that if you'd said to us 12 months ago that Mitch Edwards would have come in and play the way he's played this year, we would have said, nah, he's a mile off.
Yeah.
But
now, now you've got a situation. Let's assume for a second that we don't go and pick up a ruckman, or we can't pry out Rowan Marshall or whatever. You look at what Mitch is doing. You see what Joe Pike is doing in the VFL, and you go, hang on a minute, like there's some nice green shoots here, and hopefully one of them pays off. And there's always just the big question mark of Toby. But
this is the thing. I really like what Joe Pike's been doing in the twos.
Yeah, he's been great.
He looks to have really I feel like he's got more he's really come on in leaps and bounds with his ability to work around the ground. He's been dropping back into defence and having an impact. He's been going forward and having an impact wherever we've needed him to sort of impose himself on the game. He's been able to do that, and he's been great in the ruck. So yeah, I've got, if we had to call him in at some point between now and the end of the year, I'd be more than comfortable seeing that happen. Not that I'm suggesting that it should, but if it did, I wouldn't. If the need arose, I wouldn't be. Oh no, we're screwed here. I think he'd come in and I think he'd give a pretty reasonable account of himself. But yeah, having him there, and then of course we've got TBC. God knows what's going on there. Let's just hope that we can get. He can actually get on the paddock at some point in the preseason, and
who knows? Honestly, if that bloke got his body right, who knows? Like all of a sudden, we are blessed with ruckman.
Yeah,
if that worked out. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's I'm not going to say that I'm particularly confident about his ability to get his body right, but if he does, we know that he's got a amount of ability. So, I mean, that would be a huge ace up the sleeve to have if his body does, start to hold together a little bit better than it has.
Yeah. Who else from today took your fancy?
Oh, look, I thought, like I say, all of the guys that came into the side played really well. Warble, showed. I think tonight he really showed what he can add to the side. Just his tackling and physical presence, just with his attack on the ball, made a big difference to how they, it changed the way they wanted to move the ball. Yeah. Just, they weren't just waltzing it through like other teams have been doing in recent weeks.
No, the structure was back.
And I mean, and they were worried about him too because they were hanging on to him all night, trying to stop him from getting in there. So yeah, I thought he was fantastic. Brian obviously is gonna
huge.
Was probably my BOG. Like he just everything he did was just class tonight. Just could, and that's the thing to see that he's got his confidence back, and just all this talk about he's on the way, he might be on the way out, or he wants out, or whatever. I'm like, look, that's just not the sort. That's not the sort of guy he is, and like if honestly, if he plays well, we win. I can't think of a game where he's had a great game and we've lost. Like, it doesn't happen. When he's on, we're on. Because he's that guy that just provides the silk, provides the class, between the midfield and the forward line. So when he's doing the sorts of things that he does, like, we're a very, very hard side to beat.
We're much better off with him.
So there's no.
I'm not worried about him going. Like, Carlton have been into him for years, and that goes back to and as people know, and now I talk about far more readily. Like, I had a direct line to Nick Austin for a couple of years, and he was abundantly clear to me, and he was asking the question, "What do you think about Myers? What's he do? How's he progressing? Blah 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 blah." And he expressed on multiple occasions that he was keen, and it doesn't surprise me when Carlton's name pops up and Atush has popped back into the chat. So, and he's asked for the link, so he may well join us in a moment for the conversation. But it doesn't surprise me that they're and obviously Nick's no longer there, but
who wouldn't be interested?
Exactly right, and kind of links in with what Chris Scott said the other day. He made the reference to obviously he was speaking to the Zach Merritt situation. And he drew the comparison. He goes, if there's a 1 in a million chance that we can bring Bont in, then I'm going to have that conversation. Why not? And so I don't blame Carlton or any other club for reaching out to Brian or any other player that they fancy on our list and have a shot. That's the type of industry that elite sport is these days. You've got to take a swing, and you want to try and bring the best players through. Reality is, in this case, I just don't think there's too much smoke to this particular fire. I'm going to fix up the layout here to allow Atush to come in and join us for this conversation as well. So bear with me. How's things, mate?
Great. Doing great, Paul. How are you guys? Generation win.
Very, very well. We're not losing from here, I think, is what you said earlier on. I wholeheartedly agree.
you may never lose again.
Again.
I'll pass it on to you guys. Pass it on to you.
Talk to us you've been having a bit of fun with the conversation around Grime Myers in the chat over the course of the night. Where's your head at on that? Sorry, where's your head at on it, given that you can now speak properly about the whole thing?
I don't know. So I don't know if he's actually going to come or not. So you guys did put him on the trade table last year when you wanted Kerner, no? So you are open to letting him go?
No, Carlton asked for him and we said no.
Yeah?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you put him on the table.
That was my understanding. I don't have that line to Nick Austin anymore that I once had, but oh no, like we spoke, like we had beers at pubs and sorts of things in the past. He was
really
sick. I worked with his wife, so he'd then come down every now and then, and we'd chat footy and chat about a range of different things going on with their club. So with that club, sorry. So we didn't get to talk about the transaction around Curnow, but my understanding, because he'd been keen on him for years. Like, they asked the question, they were, well, okay, if you want Charlie, then we want this, and the Cats were just kind of shooting it down. They a bit like the Rowan Marshall deal. We wanted to deal in picks. We didn't want to deal with players, and since we weren't willing to part with them, they explored other options. They went to Sydney. You got Hayward and
Lauren.
Why am I going blank? Yeah, out of the deal. So
yeah,
that's fair enough. Like, Carlton's more than, and any club, again, that's part of the business and negotiations, right? Like, you don't put an offer that we like, then we'll take our business elsewhere.
I've got the feeling that if Brian was on the table, that and if we'd actually put him on the table, that Charlie Curnow would be wearing the hoops right now. I've got the feeling.
Not in a straight swap capacity, but obviously, Brian with picks or whatever. Like, I don't think you can trade a hyper efficient small forward with a big key forward who's won the Coleman and those sorts of things. Like, I don't think that's a straight swap, because there's more of those small effective forwards than there are rockstar key forwards. But I think he would have been in the hoops if Grime was attached to something, for sure.
Yeah, well, he's so fucking good. Look, I watched the game tonight only to watch him, and then he ended up being best on ground.
Because you're all sitting back going, fuck, here we go. This bloke, if he plays for us, this is going to be great.
Yeah, he's exactly what we need.
Your time, mate. Don't worry about it.
It's got, bro. When there's smoke, there's fire. I'm telling you, people don't talk shit. I'm sure there's something brewing. So I'd love him. What
I'm
is
sure
your
they're
price
asking
for
the
him?
question.
What's your price for him?
Parasha, you go first. Like if he did actually depart, so you're sitting there and you're Andrew Mackey right now, so you're a good looking rooster, and you're sitting back and having to negotiate with Carlton here. The grind's going. What are we getting back the other way? What do you think would be a fair and balanced one, which is always hard for us in these situations because we've all got a bit of bias. But
Can we have Harry Dean?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
You know what? You spoken just like Andrew Mackey. You know, but I hate dealing with Andrew Mackey. The whole Kerno thing when he offered us 3 first-round picks, but you guys finish top of the ladder every year, bro. So what's that? Pick 19 for 3 years? Like,
yeah,
fuck
probably
off,
like
bro.
16 through 19 over a couple of years.
Yeah. But no, Harry. Then you could have, I don't know. Who do you want from my side?
Give me a look at your list. Hang on a minute. I will take this little known bloke, number 7, Jagger Smith. He'll do.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I'm happy to give you some youth.
I was just throwing it around because I'm just going for their big, young, and up and coming ones. I hear you're going to draft a pretty handy bloke with maybe pick 1 or 2 this year. We'll take him too.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You can just have all of them.
Yeah.
Do we get Grind Myers back or?
Yeah, we'll take Grind. We'll keep Grind as well. You just give them to us. No, a fair deal. Like some of the players that I'm the biggest fan of are ones that I look at and I go, I don't know if they fit the needs of the Geelong Football Club right now. Like I look at Jacob Wiedering, who's allegedly on the table somewhere, or there's some points of difference in their current negotiations. He's 28 years old. He's one of the best key defenders in the game. But I look at where we're at in terms of where some of our strengths are, and I would say they're in those particular positions. So I don't know that adding another one for as brilliant as he is actually serves to be a massive win for us, unless we plan on just letting Sam DeConey go, I don't know, play in the traffic somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't think of anybody that I'm thinking, oh yeah, I love that bloke.
This is very
well.
humbling,
I mean,
by the way.
I do. I can think of blokes, and like your Harry Deans and your Jagger Smith and those sort of guys obviously fit that bill, but they're also the sorts of players that Carlton wouldn't want to negotiate on.
No, well,
I don't blame them in the slightest.
No, well, they're the guys that Carlton want to build their next premiership side around.
Yeah.
So you're not going to trade those guys.
We'll just grab. We'll take both Camparialis.
Sure.
I'm just rating through father sons and what else and your top picks.
What if we give you 2 first-round picks? 2 first-round picks. Ooh. So look. So the thing is, I don't know how closely you've been following the Carlton landscape. I think Wiedering is gone. I don't think he's staying past this year.
No, I think you're right. I think he's gone too.
Yeah. So we'll get at least, if it's North, they'll give us 3 first-round picks because they don't know how to fucking negotiate. They'll give us 4, bro. So we'll take one of their first-rounders, give him to you, give him a second-rounder as well. Give you a player, give you Ollie Hollands if you want him. He's a great winger, great tank, young, a lot of upside.
You said Ollie, not Elijah, right?
Yeah, Ollie. You can have Elijah too, you know? You can have him as well.
Steak knives.
Would you take that?
I'm just going back to your initial part of the 2 first rounders. Obviously, if the ladder remains, what are you expecting to happen for Carlton from here? Like, genuinely, are you going to split these games? What's the? I can't remember what the fixture looks like.
Oh, fuck!
Or did it get a bit brutal again? Obviously, you've got the Pies this weekend, which is just a coin toss because that's what those games always are. But
yeah, we've got 4 winnable games, 5 winnable games, so including Collingwood. So we play Collingwood now, then we got Gold Coast.
Gold Coast here in Melbourne. So Brisbane.
We don't leave Melbourne.
You're in Melbourne. St. Kilda in Melbourne. Dogs in Melbourne. And then a loss to finish your season. That's free.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's in Melbourne. Holy shit.
We don't
you don't travel for the rest of the year. MCG and Marvel. That's it. Oh.
We haven't traveled in like 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
And people say the Pies get an easy ride. No, but if you 50-50, you win, just to tick over the majority, but not 100%. Like you're still probably your best case scenarios, you probably finish in that ninth sort of position, I reckon, which obviously gives you a wild card swing at it, and who knows, maybe you win it and then you slide up the order a little bit. But you're talking about your natural first round pick being about pick 10 before some of the. But hang on, you're not going to throw. You're going to have to really bank your first round picks because you're going to have them for Cody Walker.
But I'm banking on that Wiedering's leaving, and we'll get 3 first round picks from North.
From North.
So we'll give you North's first round, and we'll give you maybe, I don't know, one of our second rounds, maybe one of our first. Fuck, this
Russia, like proper... if you heard 2 first rounders, and suppose for the sake of this they're both within the top 10, does that get you thinking about Grind if that was on the table? Because honestly, I'd be thinking about it. I'd be thinking long and hard about it at that point.
How bad do you need him? Do you not have anyone that can replace Grind?
We are really lacking in those high quality disposers of the ball. Like, obviously last year he was in his final year and he was starting to kind of wash out. But the importance that we'd placed on someone like Mitch Duncan over the years, for example, because he lowered the eyes, hit his targets, be it Tom Hawkins, Jeremy Cameron, whoever else. Like Grind is kind of for a while there. Obviously, we had the 2 of them doing that really well. Tyson Stengel could offer it, but obviously his situation was pretty bleak.
What's up with him? What's up with him? What's up with Stengel? Beautiful.
Would be my assumption.
Okay.
I don't have any straws handy, so I can separate this pen and demo that way if you want. But I also teach for a living, and some of those students might be watching it, so I don't want that footage bubbling up in my workplace. Yeah, like I think he's cooked. So, but we don't. I think the big weakness we've got is that we don't have really good executors when it comes to delivering the ball inside 50. We've been able to leverage the fact that Hawk would just throw blokes around for a while. We've been able to leverage the fact that Jeremy Cameron is magic. That even Shannon Neal's in a bit of a rough trot at the moment, but that he is just tall and agile, and his hands are getting better and better. But it's like we've been kind of successful in that regard, despite the quality of the ball coming in. I think even Danger Full Flight can butcher the thing. He just launches the ball long.
It's like him. Bailey Smith isn't the best going inside 50 either.
Yeah,
Max Holmes isn't the best. Well, okay. Well, how about
and actually, funnily enough, like Baz acknowledged it in the post game in his interview. He spoke about how important it was. Him and Grime were together being interviewed at the time by, I think it was Cam Mooney maybe, and one of the first comments he made after Grime came over and joined him was, Max and I are stoked that he's back because we just bomb the ball in long. He hits a target. We don't really have too many of those types of assets regularly playing in the 23 yet. So I think that's the worry, I think, for Geelong if he was to depart, regardless of where he went. It's like, who do we get back, or what do we, who's ready to step up that can not bring the quirky style, but hit a target consistently.
Yeah, I wouldn't be entertaining anything at this stage unless he indicated that he was serious. He was serious about leaving. Like if he wanted to go, then okay, we'll look at our options. But otherwise, it's just guys that have that ability to play that role. They don't grow on trees. So
100%. Yeah, that's what we're after. That's why I want
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And going back to before, that's where like any club worth their salt goes out and asks those questions and sees who they can flush out. I think Geelong's stance would be, I'd imagine, like we've got no interest in getting rid of him in any circumstance unless he comes to the table and says, I want out. At which point, let's try and extract as much as we possibly can out of him.
And let's be honest, if I was a Carlton fan, I'd be worried. I would have grave concerns about getting any of our players. I've certainly said it before. I'd be a little concerned about how like it seems
why
like
you letting him go.
Sort of like
his knees actually completely fucked.
Yeah, adding that little bit of the losing the white must be something in the white in the Guernsey. More white, the better they play. More navy, not quite so good. I'm not sure, but yeah, I don't think a single one of them's worked out to any great degree, have they?
Frankie Evans has been all right, but we got Frankie from
Yep.
Port after you, so
Yeah.
Yeah,
I honestly can't think of too many actually. Like Lockie Fogarty's done some good things, but he's not been like is he even still holding a spot for you guys at the moment?
no.
Lucky Fogarty is the bane of my existence.
Yeah, he
Like he was all right for like
You're
9
welcome.
weeks. He was all right for 9 weeks in 2023 when everyone was all right.
Yeah.
But then since then he's just I don't know. He's not even in the squad. He's in the VFL getting 30 touches a game. Can't break in.
Downhill skier.
Well, he can't kick. That's the problem. That's why we let him go.
Well,
So,
we made him a small forward that just didn't kick goals, and then for years people defended him, being like, "Oh, he's a pressure forward. He chases the ball. It's your fucking job, bro. I'd hope you chase the ball." So I don't know.
Yeah, well, he can't do much else.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Well,
Yeah,
I mean, I want
I'm
Grimeis.
looking at that list. I keep scrolling through your list and going, who would it be? Like
Adam
who's
Chera?
the player involved? And
Adam
we
Chera.
don't need another bloke who butchers the ball.
Nah, he is very good. You can't give him the butchers. We made him really bad because we made him an inside mid, but when his best work, like in 23, 24, even a bit of last year, on the outside, when he got on the outside and wasn't playing the fucking terrorist Michael Bolvos, like that shit, like playing on the Michael Bolvos, he was actually really good.
He's been pretty decent the last couple of weeks too. I have to say.
He's had a big few weeks.
Yeah, on the wing.
Like
We play him on the wing, so he's been able to use good ball use because he's not around the contest.
Run and take the space.
Yeah, he was one of the few Carlton players who handled the conditions in any way, shape, or form on Saturday night.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that game was him back in the midfield, so that's what he can do back in the midfield.
I looking through the list, I sit back and go, I think the only way that we could make it happen with a Carlton would be there's somehow like there's a significant it's heavily pick focused, and maybe there's a player thrown in as a sweetener or something like that, or just to offset the difference, but it's not really about the player, it's about the pick or picks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're getting rid of a lot of our players. We're delisting 8 and probably trading a couple more. So, fuck it. Whoever wants them, come take them, please.
Yeah. Who would be the 8 in your mind?
Pardon?
Who would be the 8 in your mind?
Let me get the list up and I'll tell you exactly. Well, Wiedering's one of them.
While you're doing that, I would just say, like, I would think right now.
Sorry, Chad. I am seeing a lot of your ideas popping up too. That we just got very stuck in the weeds there. I was trying to get as thorough as I can.
But like I would think that Carlton's priority right at the moment would need to be making sure they got the picks to get Cody Walker. That has to be the number one priority. So
we got the picks. We're getting him no matter what. Even right now, we got him.
Yeah, I don't think you have technically enough points, but you can go into deficit. So even if Wiedering stuck around and you didn't squeeze out any extra first rounders, you could go into deficit and still be fine.
And plus, we can pick swap. I mean, we have a really good relationship with West Coast. So I mean, we're getting. It's not even. Go and watch Pommy Oz's video. He explains it like a lot better than me. Yeah, it's done no matter what.
Yeah, it's done. Same with Port and Cochrane. There's no doubt about those two, and they will go 1 and 2 because now the other teams in those first 5 picks all stand to benefit with every pick that they slide. So so you guys will have to pay the absolute premium. You just got to cross your fingers and hope that someone goes for Cochrane before you guys, just to lessen the load a little bit.
He's worth it. So, like, out of like a lot of draft specialists are saying he's the best player since Nick Dacos. Like,
I keep hearing he's right up there in that sort of area as well. But you're right. It'll be worth it. But if you're fortunate enough that that someone goes for Cochrane first and you guys pick him up 2, that saves you a few points along the way. So.
Yeah. Well, how are you guys tracking? We'll get this back on Geelong basis. You winning the flag or what? How are we looking?
Well, you said it yourself. We don't lose from here.
Okay, but how was, because that Ben guy that came on before, he sounded so sad after the win. Like, what's going on, man?
He was just trapped in probably a very cold car and his phone's battery was almost dead. So, I mean, we've got to like the next 2 weeks are the big ones. If we can get the D's who haven't lost a game at the G yet, but if we can beat the D's at the G and then the Pies the week after, then we're into then we're into the softballs because then it's Essendon, North, and Richmond for the final 3, and that allows time for Jezza to come back for starters. I think he's obviously the number one priority because he's so important structurally and goal output and all that. But that now obviously seemingly Max Holmes as well, which I've now seen a few more tweets popping up beyond just the John Ralph one from before. Mitch Cleary talking about on Channel 7. They're all saying that the way Geelong is responding to it is the same way that he observed Port responding to Zach Butters last week, and Zach Butters has gone in for surgery. So on the syndesmosis. So we'll get it. We'll obviously hear more in the next day or two, but I don't know. We've got to cross our fingers in that one. I think in both cases, Jezza and Max, it's probably you get yourself in the best possible position. You try and do everything you can to squeeze that top 6 spot so you get a week off. And then rely on those 2 coming back for the first week of the finals.
Yeah, no, fair. I mean, you bring up Melbourne next week. Melbourne I know they win at the MCG, but they only win in the day. This is a night game. They're not going to be ready for it. So, well, the one thing you guys have that a lot of teams don't is just like you've been there, done that. I don't think Melbourne have been there and done that yet. This is a massive game. Maybe not crowd-wise because they have like 4 supporters and you have maybe 8. So it'll be grand attendance of
Friday night blockbuster in front of 12 people.
Yeah. So, but I mean, like in terms of big game experience, because we didn't have it. Like when we played Hawthorn, you could see that wasn't a big game, but that was a game against an opposition that had big stakes behind it, and we just didn't show up. So the fact that you have players that have been there and done that's your biggest asset coming in, not only to finals, but this last run too. I'm looking at it now. You got an easy last 3 games, but then Collingwood the week after. That's big. Are you guys in danger of not making finals? Is that even?
I mean, if the wheels completely fell off, like if we could 7th after tonight, but keep in mind everyone else has still got to play this round now. So
we only have to beat it. We only have to beat Essendon and Richmond to make it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's more a case of
that would be wild card. Obviously, at that point, we wouldn't be top 6 in it. But
if we were good enough to pull it together and win every game for the rest of the year, then top four's potentially back on. But it starts with this Friday night, and I think the other thing that might be of some benefit. I think opposition teams have been caught out by the way Melbourne's gone about it this year, but Kingy's one of ours and cut his teeth with us, so we got a pretty fair idea about what he's doing out there. So I think that'll stand us in good stead.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, it's like to put it this way. I've heard people who've spoken to coaches about the way we play, and they all say the same thing. It's like, man, it changed. Like the way they do things is so different and so complex in a lot of ways that people can't figure out what we're doing a lot of the time, and we're a pretty tough nut to crack. And I think that's where Melbourne, the way that they play, it doesn't appear, like people are saying, their defense is not that great and all that, but then you actually look at the defensive numbers, it's like, shit, they're going a lot better than people think they're going, So, but I don't think we won't get caught out like I think a lot of other teams have by them. So, I think it'll be a pretty interesting game. But Maxi's obviously not going to be playing, and questionable whether Sean Manners going to be out there as well. We're starting to get to the point where we're missing some pretty important players. So, So yeah, we'll be tested in that regard. But then, hopefully, as we saw tonight, you bring guys that have been waiting for the opportunity to come back in, or blooding some guys, and they respond. Good things can happen.
That are hungry.
Sometimes it's the best thing. I mean, like when Wiedering went out for us. Wiedering hasn't played in this entire 8-week run, by the way. This we may never lose again run, even though we lost. But like Wiedering hasn't played, and the best thing that came out of it is one, Harry Dean. Harry Dean was not this good while Wiedering was playing, by the way. I don't know if it was because he's playing second fiddle, maybe the spotlight wasn't on him, but Harry Dean was nowhere near this good in the first 10 weeks of the season. That also could be because he's playing on the Michael Voss, and we were like one of the worst teams in the comp at the time. But another one is Wade Dirksen, who's come up, who was like an SSP pick. I thought he's going to play one game for the year and we're going to delist him, but he's been really good too. So sometimes when you lose a star player like that, like you said, you can bring someone else up from the twos. Yeah. And you can find
exactly what happened with Jay Polkinghorn tonight. So
there you go. What a name, by the way.
Yeah, it's a good
one.
What
a name. Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Is I thought Harry Dean was showing plenty. But then, once Wiedering went down and it was sort of like, well, mate, you got to hold the fort now. He's just gone up another level. And, and I think to sort of to be a first year player, and having to basically be the marshal of the back line as a rookie, that is huge. That is huge. And not even it's not like a Tom Stewart scenario where he was, mid-20s when he came to us. So, he already had that little bit of extra maturity and stuff like that. So, he could just slot right in and all that. We're talking about a kid here, and he's been enormous. Didn't have his best game on Saturday night, but he had a few mates in that regard. But aside from that, he's like, you look at a bloke like that and you just think, shit, we can build a premiership side around this bloke. And he's got he's like his dad was an interesting unit as well, and Harry's a bit the same. He's a bit of a strange cat at times, but he's a leader. You can see it. He's got presence, So, so the fact that what is it what is it they say about something bringing opportunity? Can bring opportunity. Can't remember that. Can't remember it off the top of my head. I'm getting old.
But in the midst of chaos, no, it's in the midst of chaos. There's always opportunity.
That's the one.
Yeah, or through adversity comes opportunity, or something like that. Yeah. So I think there's a little bit of that, but I do think when the whips are cracking, you need to have your best guys out there, or eventually, particularly these days, it's a lot harder to just like you're talking about experience and stuff like that. When you're missing a lot of those experienced guys and you're relying on players who don't quite have that experience, I think these days you're reasonably you're quite likely to get caught out, maybe, as opposed to in previous eras of footy.
Yeah. I also just think we're in different stages of our teams right now. You're trying to win a flag. I know I say we're winning the flag all the time, but really right now I'm still looking towards the next 5 years of development. So like, as much as it sucks not having our best players out there, cracking whips and whatever, but I love the fact that some of these kids are getting runs. Like George Hewitt is playing this week, which fucking baffles my mind. But if he didn't play, I would have loved to see Ben Camperelli in, Cooper Lord, who was already in anyways. But some of these younger kids to get the opportunity, because I know we're in wildcard mode right now and we want to make it, but as much as I want to make it, I also want to win a flag in the next 5 years, if it's not this year. So in that regard, we're in different things. But like, you guys can't relate, bro. You guys fucking make finals every year.
Like, that's what we do.
Yeah, like when you talk about Harry Dean being a leader in that backline, I couldn't agree more. The biggest thing he has, and you're gonna laugh at this, being like, oh, shouldn't all players be like this because you're from Geelong? But he doesn't want to lose games. That's rare for us. Like, you can tell that he fucking hates it when he loses games. He's got that competitive drive, which we don't really have in a lot of our players, or we didn't used to. Now everyone seems to have turned the corner under Fraser, but Back in the day, bro, it was rough, bro. Like, I'm here venting to you guys. Back in the day as a Carlton supporter, it was rough, man.
No, I can relate to that. I think that was part of the reason why we, had that run where we played in a lot of grand finals and didn't win any of them because we just lacked that really hard competitive edge that you've got to have. If you want to win a premiership, you've got to be ruthless. You've got to be ultra competitive, not just I want to win and, hard at it. Like you've got to go a level beyond that if you really, really want to win. And, if you can get those, the more of those blokes you get at your footy club, the better off you're going to be. This is what drove our golden era of 20 years ago now. Like, you hear all of those every player that was at the club and played in those premierships, they say about it. Every one of these guys was maniacally competitive. Like they're to the point where there were punch-ons. Like,
Stevie J and Chappie constantly, for example.
Yeah, but there was once where Chappie showed up at bloody Steve Johnson's house and let's go some more, stuff like that. So it's like that's how much these guys wanted to win. And and I think that like I said, I've seen that happen at our club where just that edge that you've got to have and that real desire to and that real hunger to want to win, it wasn't there. And if you've haven't had success for a long period of time, you just, you fall into that thing of, I'm just happy to be a league footballer. I'm just happy to get a kick. Who cares if you lose, And I think, and I think, with a lot of the, look at the English cricket team when they were out here last. So it was show
something,
anything. If we win, it's great. If we lose, who cares? It's like, no. You're embarrassing yourself. It's like what you think after you've had your ass handed to you on a plate. It's not about the image. It's what people think of you outside. It's that thing of we've just been thumped. The series is on the line. Here we're going on this thing to get on the piss and all that. It's like, no, we're going to can that because we want to win these last three tests, and we're not going to leave any stone unturned to want to win these games. We'll do everything we can. That's what it is. It's make it a statement, not to the fans but to yourselves, that we care and we want to do everything that we can to win. And if you don't have that edge, you aren't winning shit.
Yeah. No, spot on. And we've lost it now. There's not a lot of players with it anymore. Like, I'm sure back in your day, it was everyone was like that. But now I feel like we've lost that whole competitive edge thing. I don't know if it's been...
Edge shit.
Yeah, I don't know if it's I don't want to get into the thing, but I don't know if it's times have changed and you're not allowed to be like that anymore, but
it's probably a little bit more complacency that even stems from the pay packet that everyone gets these days.
Yeah, true. Yeah, if you're an average footballer. Well, how much are first round draft picks on? They're on a minimum 150 grand, yeah?
Yeah, something like that.
Fucking bro, that's a lot of money for an 18-year-old, So
that's
I guess
what
it's
I am now. I'll take that.
Yeah.
It's not too late. Yeah.
Even players before rivalry games. When I used to see, it's like Charlie Kerner has the drink brand with Nick Dacos and whatever, and they're mates. But when I used to see them shake hands and joke before the game leading up to, I'm like, no, bro, you can't do that, man. But my best mate, I've done it for fucking 8 years now, right? I love him to death. He's a North supporter. When we play North, I tell him, don't message me on the day, cunt. We're not friends.
Yeah.
Don't for the next 3 hours, we're not mates. It was I don't know. We've lost that in play. Some of them still have it, and now we point it out because it's so much rarer. Back in the day, you're right, Horatio. Everyone had it.
Yeah, and I think back to the way Carlton was when I was growing up, and the sort of leaders that they had. And going back to the most recent sort of great or period where Carlton had success, you had a bloke like Stephen Kernahan as your captain. Now, great player, but a great leader. And he was, a guy that would set the tone, set the standard, and he would do whatever he needed to do to get other guys to rise to that standard. you know, and that's the sort of stuff that you need if you want to be up there. You know, you start to get that attitude of, you know, I'm getting well paid, and you know, and you hear the guys on TJP and that talking about sort of the attitude, the off-field attitude. You know, we're not worried. We're not worried about winning games of football. We're not worried enough about winning premierships. We're more worried about being good corporate citizens and, you know, social governance and, you know, all this sort of thing. It's like, how about just getting a kick and winning some games of footy? You know, because that's what pays the bills. You know.
It confuses me because like they focus so much on off-field stuff, which I don't have an issue with, you know, all these initiatives, but like no one would complain if we're just winning football. No one ever does. Like, you know, people used to complain about the bubbleheads when we were losing, right? People lose their minds. When the Feb bubble came out, everyone was over the moon. Like, fuck yeah, bro, I'll buy a bubblehead because we're winning games. I think that should be the focus for every fucking football club because you're a football club, you know. But
first and foremost,
it's a rabbit hole though.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to go into that too much because it doesn't usually end well for me. But no, that's it. You like, and I think that's one thing that I'll say that we do quite well is that we seem to be able to separate sort of that, you know, the external noise or, you know, and sort of distractions from, you know, other influences, so to speak, from actually going out there and being a competitive football club and being successful. Whereas I think, you know, Carlton being one club, but they are not the only ones that I think have lost their way a little bit because they're too busy thinking about that other stuff. Than actually
the non-football stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we're like one of the only. I think we're the only club in the comp that still has a coterie group. I think the last one used to be us and Essendon. Do you know what a coterie group is? So there's a lot of outside influence. Yeah, so there's a lot of outside influence. When Essendon had one, they dropped it 20 years ago, and I know they haven't been doing well, but we're the only one in the comp that still have it. So like the big five families, the ones you can't name, you know, the Mathesons, the other ones. So there's a lot of outside influence. But I mean, bro, I just want to fucking win games, bro. I'm too young for this shit. I'm 20 years old, bro. I don't give a shit about outside noise. I just want to go to the footy every weekend and win games, which we did for 7 weeks. So hopefully it keeps up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's shaping up well.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, I mean, as far as you guys go, like this is the game where I think because I mean, let's be honest, your game against Richmond wasn't fantastic either. So, you know, I think this game's going to show, or the opportunity to show who the real Carlton is. Is it the one that we've seen in that first part of the season and the last couple of weeks, or is it the one that, you know, was playing some bloody good footy there for a few, you know,
month and a half,
yeah.
Well, I like I said on my preview, I'm happy to go on the record here. This is, if we lose this game, we don't make wild card. So this is our season-defining game. I don't see how we make it if we lose against Collingwood. But that being said, it is a big game. You're right to see who we are, but not because of like we have to make wild card, because it's the first loss under Fraser. So like good teams respond after a loss.
The loss he had to have before he became head coach.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so it'll be interesting to see how they respond.
Guys, I won't apply until I lose one.
So it's like you have to go through it, right? Like, because winning's easy, you know. Gene up the boys in the room. Life is great when it's easy and you're winning, you know. But like when, like you said before, hard times, adversity, whatever, you see who you really are. So I guess we'll see who we are. Look at Hawthorn; they were down by 100 points at halftime against Melbourne before they played us, and they fucking whipped us. So
yeah, I don't think anybody saw that coming though. Wow.
Well, yeah, we didn't see what happened to begin. Yeah, so that was a whole
and that was the thing. It wasn't even just that they were like 100 points down at half time. It was in Tassie as well, where they pretty much never lose. Like, what the hell? And everyone was like, "Oh, Melbourne can't win away from the G." It's like, oh, the hell they can't. You know, they're giving a premiership fancy an absolute hiding here.
Yeah,
but
you'll whip them. I have faith. I'll tell you what. If Carlton don't make wildcard, I'll be a Geelong supporter. I'll go for Geelong in the finals.
Oh, I was going to say, hang on, shit, are we jumping ship?
No, we're not jumping ship. But I've lived through the
temporary one.
Yeah, for finals. I'll buy a Geelong scarf. I'll come on here every fucking
There we go. Yeah, we'll see how far we go into it this year. But
yeah, well, next Friday night's going to, we'll have a fair say in, whether we're going to have any kind of say in
that finals,
September. Yeah, whether we can, whether we're just making up the numbers or not. So, yeah, and I think, I think that's a good position, a position that we usually relish when sort of the
backs against the wall sort of stuff.
We're under the pump and we've got to get the job done. We have I think we've got a pretty good record in taking care of these sorts of games when we need to. So, but yeah, I mean, like, tonight I was like, look, I said on Discord, I think earlier today, I was like, look, they haven't beat us here for 27 years, right? And I said, look at the blokes that are out and look at the blokes that are in. I said, mate,
I can see your eyes are to a share. They haven't beaten us since 1999 in Geelong.
Really? Yeah. Fuck that out. Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah, I was at that game. What a day that was.
Shit.
But yeah, I was just like, look, I guarantee that you will see a revitalised performance tonight. And, let's face it, they were never, really in the hunt tonight, so. And I mean, a first game, it took more marks inside 50 than their entire bloody side. So,
St. Kilda, they're a joke club. I'm sorry, they spent like $4 billion in the offseason to do this, to be fucking 12th. So it's not the biggest flex beating them. Yeah, I know. So
there's a reason why they've only won. There's a reason why they've only ever won one flag, because they're that shit footy club. That is St. Kilda. They are the worst. They're terrible, and they've always been terrible.
I couldn't agree more. I can't stand them as a club.
It's not even, in my case, it's not even can't stand them. It's just like how it's just I'm baffled every time we look at them. Like how
are you still shit? It's just
how
pity at this point.
How does this keep happening? Like, and how do you keep how do you have fans? How do they keep putting themselves up for this?
Well, I think I was telling you before. I think most of their fans come from the 10-cent imports from the UK from back in the 60s when they came over. There was the only really genuinely successful extended sort of successful period. Yeah, like they had that sort of 10-year period when Baldock and Ian Stewart and Carl Dietrich were playing for them, and they all they all come over on the $10 boats and all started following St. Kilda. I think that's where most of the fans come from. Yeah, I'm not even joking.
And then from there, you're just born into it.
Yeah, right. That tends to be how it works. I mean, look, there's a whole, and it's the St. Kilda story. There is a whole what if butterfly effect style thing here, that if a certain toe poke didn't happen and then a certain ball bounce the next year didn't happen, like we could be talking about St. Kilda totally differently, and their fortunes as a club could totally have changed, but sucked in, it didn't. But that's St. Kilda. That's how it works for St. Kilda.
Yeah,
it's always these nearly. I mean, it's ironic, right? Like, and I said this. I've said this. It's like, when that drawn grand final, which I was at, I said to my brother as we were walking out of the ground, I said it's ironic, isn't it? Like you won your one and only flag against this mob with a shank kick that bounced through for a point, and today you've missed out on seeing a flag from basically a ball that bounced. If it had bounced any other way, would have been a goal and you would have won the flag. It bounced the only way it could possibly bounce, that he couldn't pick it up and run and kick a goal.
Couldn't have happened to a better bloke. Sucked in 7 mil.
Tell me about it, but yeah, but that's the thing. They've won one flag and they won that flag by a point. That's how shit they are. It's like as soon as they started buying these players, it's like, look, if you know if another club's doing it that say like it was a West Coast that was doing it, like they're having their issues, but they're a successful, well-run club, right? They will get it together, right? Sooner rather than later. You know that they will get people at the club that will get it together sooner rather than later. With St Kilda, it's like, no, they're just doing what they don't understand. They don't understand what success looks like. They don't understand what it means to build, a culture. Right. Like they're just doing what they think doing that looks like. So spending a lot of money, overpaying for certain players, although it could be argued that it could be to be, I'll give them some credit. It could be said, clearly they overpaid for TDK, but it could quite easily be argued that they got a pretty good deal for Jack Silvani because he's been huge for them this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, the money he's on, do you justify that? Because he's close to 900. He's close to 900 for 4 years.
Yeah, I think, it was like,
but
I thought it was 800.
9 is rapidly not becoming
I think
that's number in this game anymore.
That's getting close to the going rate.
Yeah. Would you pay 900 for Silvani as a successful club with great culture? If like let's say you needed a key back or like a second key back, would you pay $900,000 for Silvani, who at Carlton had 1 year as a backman, right? Out of a possible 250 games, he's played 122 at Carlton, right? He's 28 years old, and you give him a 4 or 5 year deal for $900,000 a year. You would do that?
If financially,
contract length out the gate would be probably the thing I'd query there, but otherwise,
really,
because 900 these days, you're in your top 25% of your club.
Yeah, I would say
think he'd fit there in his current vein of form.
He's been great. Don't get me wrong. He's been great. Like I rate him. I think he's good, but just didn't think not that money.
I would say, like the thing you got to remember with like spending and stuff is that you have to spend X amount of your salary cap. So they were kind of in a position where they sort of had to throw the money at somebody, right? Because they had to use the money. So if that meant that they could, hang on to, jiggle their contracts in such a way that they could hang on to some blokes that they liked, back in some contracts and stuff like that, and then have
maintain the annual 95% minimum.
Right, and have the bigger dollars to pull those guys in, then okay, have a crack at it. As far as Jackson Vardy goes, like look at what's talking about how well the blokes you've got off us in the past have gone. Look at
you're just turning the knife again, aren't you?
Look,
you've only gotten shit from us.
Like look at Jack Martin. Now his form's been up and down, but one thing he has done is stay on the paddock. Something he couldn't do at Gold Coast and couldn't do at Carlton. Yeah. So I would, if we were interested in Silvani, I would certainly back our guys to be able to keep him on the paddock a lot more. And I would also back our guys because, clearly we're pretty good at identifying talent and talent that is going to work in our system. If they said, we're going to pay this much, for Jack, we think Jack Silvani's worth this much, then I'd be prepared to back their judgment on that because they've been right most of the time. They don't always get it right, but the vast majority of the time they do. So, look, the thing I'd be annoyed about is just that, aside from him being, from one of, the Carlton Royal, a family of Carlton royalty, basically, is the fact that, he's playing the sort of consistent football that you sort of always hoped he was going to play when he was a Carlton instead of just, playing a couple of good weeks of being out for 6 and stuff like that, which is sort of how it went with him there. So that would be annoying.
It's very timely to have a Captain Snooze ad in the background there as the chat starts digging in about me needing to go to work tomorrow morning.
Yeah, the ad seemed to come up a bit loud. It seemed to come on a bit louder. I've just got the Tour de France on in the back in the background.
France.
Yeah.
Wow. You like that stuff?
Oh yeah, I love the cycling.
I'm not going to say my
Yeah,
thoughts on cycling.
No, I
Speed bumps on the freeway.
No. There's a difference between cyclists and cycling. That's what I'm
fair
saying.
enough.
Spartacus, Paul, I'm going to look like Baz after the granny if these bastards don't wrap it up.
No, I mean, look, aside from football, the two sports I watch mostly are snooker and cycling. So
Nice.
Snooker. Fucking hell, bro. You watch some weird sports.
man,
Oh no, you've upset Python. Now you watch. He's going to come firing in a sec. No, he's all about
Oh,
darts, isn't he?
Darts is all right. Darts is actually entertaining. You know what I like watching really late at night? Lawn bowls. Because they take it so
me too.
seriously. Yeah, because they go hard into that shit. I love seeing passionate sports.
I was watching the Queensland State Championships with my son a couple of weeks back. Actually, yeah, he was kind of because I used to like playing carpet bowls when I was a kid. So yeah, I've sort of always had a bit of a liking for the lawn bowls when it's on. But
I don't mind it when it's barefoot bowls and you got a beer in hand, firing down the green. But that's about it.
Yeah, well, they have the bowls club in Moe. I don't know about here in Moore, but the bowls club in Moe has the barefoot bowls. So I might this summer or every summer they have it at like 5 o'clock on a Tuesday. I might take my son down there for a bit of a look over the summer and see what he thinks.
Have you hit 2 a.m. before on a post-game live?
Yeah, we've hit 2 a.m. before, but not on a Thursday night when I've got to go to work the next morning. So we'll probably wrap it up in the next couple of minutes because I've still got to record. Like as soon as I boot you bastards out and I wrap this show up, I've got to do the match reaction video so that it goes live tomorrow morning. So
yeah, I'm pretty.
If I don't have that, the slave driver that is Ben Reeve will be on my case. He'll start sending me messages up.
Yeah, well, I've already got Ben in trouble a week and a half ago. So I don't want to get you all in trouble.
What'd you say?
I mean, I'll only get in trouble from my boss. Don't worry about it. The most important boss. The most important boss is sleeping in my bed right now and probably hasn't put the electric blanket on, so I'll freeze my dick off when I get in there.
But yeah, like yeah, you know, they never get it right. The St Kilda never get it right, and you know, you sort of see a bit of that. You see a bit of that sort of thing tonight. They're just always, you know, and they're just always nearly there or worse, you know. And that was the other thing I said in the Discord earlier today. It's like they haven't beaten anybody above them all year. They're not that. They're no good. Like, don't worry about them. Like, yeah, we would literally have like. It's like I said to you last week. Like, you know, we haven't been that far away. Like, we haven't played our best footy by a long shot, but we haven't been that far away. And that was why I was confident. Like, look, we've been forced to make some changes. Fortunately, in light of that, I feel like it's like, okay, well, we might as well give these other blokes the arse as well while we're here. Bring in these guys, and voila, we look a much we looked a revitalised outfit out there today, and you know, as I said, the blokes that we brought in, all of them played well. So
they're looking real good.
There you go. No, I mean,
Big Bell says, "Did Geelong play last night?" Yeah, mate.
Paul's house is getting broken into.
No, it was just clearly a possum bouncing across the roof. They jumped off my house roof onto the shed roof, and I just heard the giant thud.
Where are you? Where do you like? What is this? Why do you have fucking timber as your background, as the wall?
This is the shed.
This is the shed. Okay.
This is the shed.
Okay.
And then we've just turned into a studio behind. Hang on.
Oh, here we go. Room tour, baby.
Bit of a shit show over there, but like Am I going to have enough light? Hang on, I'd have to turn the overhead light off. Give me a sec.
This is great.
You know what I want to see one night. I want to see
The mower and everything. Like, it's just a dumping ground behind there. There's the mower.
Oh, wow.
There's my wife's bike. Snippers in there. Something. Then
You're right.
racks of video games on the other side. So
Fuck, that's sick.
Yeah, everybody gives me shit about my curtains. You know what I want to see? One night I want to see, like when they have the press conferences of like some Arabian or African dictator, and it'd have like the fake wood paneling on the wall and the giant desk, and you've got to be sitting there in a safari suit with some sunglasses on and a couple of big motherfucking flags with bloody tassels on them, like in the background. Like, I just want you to sign in one night, and that's the setting, and you're just sitting at this big desk with this giant chair and a safari suit on with that background.
clear everything else out. Reframe
Get
it.
done.
All right, gents. On that note, I am going to wrap it up because I do have to record a reaction video and then get some sleep. So,
Yeah, I got to go.
coming on board. Rashi, I need to get your 3, 2, 1 before you bounce.
All right,
And
three.
I want to hear from you what the deal is that gets in your mind that gets Grind Myers over to the Blues if that were to happen.
Oh, sweet.
Rashi, go with your 3, 2, 1 first, mate.
All right. Well, my 3, 2, 1's 3 votes to Grind. You know, he was just showed
At his value right before a Tush makes a deal. Good, well played.
Yeah, no, that just put an extra draft pick on the required
Cody Walker and 2
value.
first-round picks.
Yep, cough them up. 2 votes. Who was it? Who was I going to give the 2 votes to? I've forgotten now.
The game was yesterday, mate. It's okay.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's been a while. No, who was Clack? Jay Clack.
Yeah,
gets the 2 for me. Possibly would have got the 3 if
different points.
Yeah, he's kicking let him down a bit in the second half, but apart from that, just he was a man possessed all night. And a vote to the debutant, the Polestar. I hope I had a good feeling. He's been in great form in the 2s. Had a good feeling about what he could bring to the table tonight. But honestly, if you'd told me that dominating the All Australian halfback was on that wasn't on my bingo card tonight. So
no.
Definitely a vote for me in that regard.
All right, what's the deal?
Well, I'm giving you Adam Chera in a late first rounder.
No.
Well, he's coming anyways, Paul, whether you like it or not. So
he's coming home. I don't know what home actually is for Adam Chera, but anyway.
If Grind wanted to leave, that was the offer. I would probably throw like a flip flop of picks in there as well. That wouldn't be bad. Because how old's Chera? Chera's not that old.
25, 26.
Yeah, so I'd probably think about that if the deal had to be done, for sure.
Yeah. No, he's coming to Carlton whether you like it or not. But look, we'll let Paul wrap it up. Paul, kick me out when you do the outro, but keep me in. I want to ask you a question off stream.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, can do. All right, well, thanks everyone coming on board. We'll do it all again soon.
No worries. All right. Night all.
You're gonna have to sit through the AI banger
beautiful.
Before we get to.
Well, I love it anyways. I sit through it all the time.
Awesome. All right, thanks a lot, guys. Chat soon.
See ya.
All right, we'll wrap things up there. Cats went down. Went down. Sorry, I'm so used to talking about a loss recently. Fuck me. Cats won by 27 points tonight, 15-12, 102 against the Saints, 11-9, 75, with a bunch of junk time stuff to the Saints, making it look a little bit better than what it was for them. They were dog shit. We weren't. Cats going to win every game from here till the end of the season, taking away the premiership flag. That's how it's going to go. That's what the narrative has been in the chat all night, and we'll will it into existence. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight. Of course, you can check the reaction video out tomorrow on this channel. As soon as we're done here, I'll be recording that. And it'll be out whenever Ben Reeve decides to publish it, probably by 7 or 8 a.m. Anyway, thanks all for checking this out. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like this video. Share it with your friends and family. And until next time, remain Geelong strong, everyone. I'll see you later.
It's time for the show. Dropping pussy down facts, mitts, forwards and backs. Representing G-Town while talking the smack. Clashing facts like Patty, where the hell you at? Hoops crew are exploding, don't ever look back. Then we got Paul, yeah, he knows his stuff. He's a man, he's a myth, taking on the nuffs. The man don't miss, he loves to react. His words cut deep, he's a counterattack. Balls on fire, brings a mic to life. Don't fuck with B-Dog if you value your life. Oh, they fuck shit up, yeah, they run G-Town. The Hoops crew's here and they'll never back down. Jake, Tommy, Sambo, always rocking the game. Betty and Paul, man, remember the names. In the studio, Jake's bringing the noise. With Johnny and Sambo, the chaps, chat boys, they're electric. And they're ready to roll. The boys are on fire and they're taking control. Recaps and previews, yeah, they cover it all. Part of the Hoops crew with Betty and Paul. They fuck shit up, yeah, they run G-Town. The Hoops crew, baby, they'll never back down. Jake, Johnny, Sambo, always rocking the game. Betty and Paul, chasing glory and fame. Brad with the sleeves, Max Holmes and Jack Bose. Tommy fucking Atkins, he'll break your damn nose. Stewie in the middle, and Reese in the ruck. They see Big Jezza and they know they're fucked. They're the G-Town boys, go hard or go home. They're fucking insane, taking over the throne.